past Nakuru.
Yeah, Nakuru.
And you know Lanet.
Yes.
And you know the poshness of Lanet.
Correct.
And everybody wants to live in Lanet. This guy is called Username. Investments have decided to, let's have a development in Lanet. Beautiful development. And they're saying we have acquired a huge piece of land. We have made roads. We have provided electricity. We have sunk boreholes. We have connected to other water sources. We have done a perimeter wall. We have done a beautiful gate. And it's on the road from Nakuru heading towards
Olkalau.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Nilami. This one is there, touching tarmac.
After RTS, is it this Jeshi thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then it is within the metropolis.
It is within the metropolis.
Yes.
From there, it's just 3 kilometers to the Nakuru airport.
Wow.
Yeah.
That looks exciting.
Kabisa.
And you know, when you talk about land and where I come from, is one, if you don't have land, you are nobody. It defines who you are.
Who are you? Yeah?
Yes.
For who shall a man be?
Yes, without land.
Without land. How much is it, City?
Well, a cash offer is 1,499,000 shillings for an eighth of an acre. Yes, people who hear it say, that is for a deposit. No, it's not a deposit. When you pay 1,499,000, you have actually bought the plot. But in the event that you find you are a little cash strapped, you can pay in installments. And the arrangements can last from 3 months to 12 months. And it's something you can talk to them about. Arrangement will be made and you can begin your payment.
Very
and
good.
the payment can be begun with just 10% of that cost.
Wow.
To get in touch with Username Investment, please call them 0725 000 222. That's 0725 000 222. Or you can SMS the word plot to 20321. That's 20321. Wednesdays and Saturdays, they organize transport for people to go and view. So from Kencom at 7:30 a.m., you get into a bus. They take you there. Hawezi kupeleka all the way to Nakuru na usikule nyama. So even nyama na chai na chai iko na mkate na iko na siagi imelipua 16% VAT. Utapata.
That's good. They are paying taxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
City. Why don't you give the senator the day's proverb?
Yes, for the whole of this week, our proverbs have been from the Republic of the Seychelles. Okay? Now, today's proverb is an interesting one. Simple, straightforward, and easy to understand. Opportunity does not wake up those who are asleep.
Opportunity does not wake up those who are asleep. What's your interpretation of this one, Senator?
No, I think what happens is you should go for what is in life. You should remain focused and steadfast, and know that opportunities come once, and come once and rarely. So you should always work hard and strive to achieve each and every morning, because they say the early bird catches the worm. Is it the best worm or something like that? So I think he's right, and it's a challenge. But wanasema ile maana ya juu na maana ya ndani is similar, but maana ya ndani ni muhimu sana, because it is a principle that you should always be on lookout for opportunities and work towards achieving it. Yeah. You
are the vice chair of a crucial Senate committee.
Yes.
It's the Senate County Public Accounts Committee.
Yes.
We know the one in the National Assembly. So they look at reports from the Auditor General and see, so how is the executive performing in terms of financial and other propriety. What does the one for the Senate do?
Understanding orders of the Senate, and of course, standing orders originate from the Constitution of Kenya, Article 125, Article 123, the decision of the Senate, and of course, standing orders are based in the Constitution. One of the committees that we have in the Senate is County Public Accounts. In the last session, we used to have County Public Accounts and Investment, but we have divided The county public investment looks at special funds and water funds like for Nairobi Water, Education Fund, Emergency One, among other, under public investment. On county public accounts, it calls at the county executives' financial reports, both the county executive and the county assembly. Because in this issue, the county assembly never used to appear before the Senate. Especially to look at the financial reports. The financial report we are looking at the moment, although we are behind schedule, is 2021-2022 financial year and 2020-2021 financial year. And maybe for Kenyans to understand, the review, the parliament must look at the latest audited accounts that determine under Article 210 allocation to counties. Number two, so ours is just to look at the financial reports for the executive and the counties. I think the National Assembly is similar. We have, these reports are normally supplied by the Office of the Auditor General, which is a constitutional office. We look at the financial reports, look at the recommendations of OAG, and then we give them a chance to mitigate, the chances, because the process of auditing is done even 3 months into the new financial year, looking at the mitigation effect that the counties have done. For example, if an audit raised audit query, for example, maybe value for money, or they were non-provision of spending vouchers and many others. Now that is a chance they appear before the committee. We look at it and then we table our reports before the Senate. Of course, the National Assembly one tables and then we make appropriate recommendations. The only challenge is that this committee comes in as a mortician. We are more of trying to find out what killed the patient. We can't resuscitate. That's the problem, because we make recommendations when money has been spent. And I think that has been the challenge, because many people ask, where was the Senate, where were the oversight committees when maybe money was misappropriated, when the accusations live and ready center of corruption allegations. So ours is just to come and make recommendations. But that recommendation again is being made to other committees. When the Senate adopt that report, we can recommend that Governor XY should be prosecuted or should be investigated. Now the EACC and DCI picks up. The challenge we normally have with these agencies is there are many allegations where they go to bed to some of these accused people. Because when they get recommendations, they go back, and you know how Kenya operates, and 15 years down the line, no one has been successfully in senior position, especially in county governments, that has been prosecuted. It's only small fish. I used to remember there was a DPP who used to say he was coming to fry big fish, but he ended up frying omena, or he fried nothing at all. So that has been the challenge. You find accountants, directors of procurement, chief officers, CCM, small people, and even there is an amendment, just an upshot. There is an amendment under County Governments Act where we are trying even to look at the possibility of the impeachment procedure bill, so that MCAs have power to impeach some of the CCMs. I know they have done before, the county executives, they have done before, but we are trying to clean up the legislation so that it becomes easy, even for the governor and the county assembly, to ensure if CCs do not perform their functions. So ours is just to be a mortician. We look at the report, we listen, we write the recommendations.
Go, Senate adopts a report. Many times people have actually said this public accounts committees, both at the National Assembly and at the Senate, are just huge laundromats. Kuja hapo, mosho moja, story na kufa. This is where the matter just comes and dies. The Auditor General presents a report.
Correct.
And the report is detailed.
Correct.
These are the queries that we raised. This is what we have found. This is a matter that needs further relooking. Then the Public Accounts Committee sits, summons the people who've been mentioned in that. You ask questions, you appear to be tough, and then you write a report, and then the report recommends further action, recommends further investigation, and then you say, from there, we are like Pontius Pilate, sisi kasi yetu tumemaliza, now it's somebody else to take it up. And the matter dies there. you're looking at the 2021 report
Yes.
in the year 2024.
We don't. The OAG is doing a good job, but now because of how Parliament operates, we went back for an election in 2022. Our committees are organized. For example, like for the next 2 days, we are not able to sit as a committee because we have impeachment proceedings that is ongoing. Other incidental matters always arise that affect the program of the committees, like recess, like many others. But I agree, as a parliament, we are not doing enough. Because even we were blaming the other day the National Assembly for out of 4.1 trillion Kenya shillings, they wanted to allocate counties 395 billion Kenya shillings or thereabout, where we propose 415 billion Kenya shillings. Now, the point is, they argue that the latest audited accounts are as per the constitution. But when you look at the last audited accounts, it's still many financial years far behind. And therefore, people will ask, why is it that the national budget is 4.1 trillion, but when it comes down, the counties do not have, are not given commensurate to 4.1 trillion, and the argument will be, say, latest audited account. So even as a Senate, we are doing far much better in terms of looking at the audited accounts under the financial year under review, as opposed as to the National Assembly, because they will always argue that looking at 4.1 trillion, around 500 billion thereabout should be going to counties, which should be doing a lot. On the issue of Auditor General's office, they are doing a good job, even the controller budget, because the disbursement, the tracking, and they have been working hard, especially when requisitions are made through the CCMs and spending. On OAG, the process of audit is not just auditing financial statements and other aspects. The Auditor General does what we call forensic audit, which we sometimes recommend. I remember we visited Isiolo. We have visited to look at the status of projects among other counties. We have even recommended before that they do forensic audit with an intent for prosecution. Number two, there is also what we call special audit. And you remember during COVID funds, the Auditor General did refer for special audit. Then there is what we call IT audit, where counties nowadays have what we call using technology to correct funds. Like here in Nairobi and the rest of the country, we always sometimes order, and I agree with you, the parliament has so much immense powers, and that is why we sometimes even direct OAG to do IT audit on maybe collections and many other audit with a few. But the problem is the architecture and design of our law is that parliament do not have prosecution powers. People argue that parliament becomes a laundromat or mosho moja, but they are not looking at the law, the constitution.
So Senator, so I think that's the issue here, because, so here we are, because we did see, I believe in the clip that we saw, it was yourself, it was Senator Kadrang, and then Senator Sifuna, who obviously saw that there was an issue in a particular county. Between Turkana and Isiolo. Remind me which one it was.
Both we have gone to Turkana and Isiolo. The latest one was Isiolo.
It was Isiolo, actually.
Yes.
Whereby there was clear complaint from the people of the county.
Yes.
In terms of what should have been done.
Correct.
Vis-a-vis the amounts of money that had been sent to the county, and obviously money that had been spent. So the visits, I believe, are actually quite beneficial, because you're able to actually see what is happening, as opposed to a report in Nairobi, as helpful as it may be. But then I think that the physical viewing of things makes a difference. What stops that from happening on a regular basis? Because like you say, if you're looking at reports from 2021 and 2024, you're looking at history. Right. So in 2024, one could say that worse things are happening. Right?
Yes.
But it will not be looked at until 2027.
Or 2028.
Or 2028.
Yes.
So can Senate, as an oversight body, then even perhaps do a lot more of what is being done today, as opposed to waiting for these reports? The reports, like I said, I believe are good.
Yes.
However, in terms of being proactive, for even light to be shed on some of these things that are going on, is it not important? I'm going to keep going back to this picture this week.
Yes.
I must. Because this is the picture of a school in a county in Kenya, for which, in my opinion, if oversight was being done properly, perhaps we would know the situation on the ground for real.
Yes.
This is in Kilifi County, for which there's a senator, there's a governor, or there was.
MCA.
There are MCAs, there are members of parliament.
Chances are even in your county there are schools like this.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
In Nyeri,
They're there. So what happens?
Kisumu.
I feel it's a very comfortable position whereby these reports are waited for. But I'm very happy to see Senate going out to these places.
Correct.
My question is, what happens now that you have seen? I heard the three of you specifically talk about looking for prosecution on matters like this because it is criminal.
Yes.
Yourself and Senator Kajwang said that.
Yes.
What can we actually see to make sure that Senate just is not we go, we see, and then we forget about it, we tell a different story tomorrow?
Thank you for that. I think that's a written of questions. One is, I agree, after visiting Isiolo, we have received a lot of requests across the county. And when we updated, you could see people are saying, when are you coming to Mombasa? When are you coming to Garissa? When are you coming to Kisumu, to Nandi? I think we as a committee, we have taken note. But also the same thing goes back to resources. The committee, to go around the country, they must get allocation from the spending within the Senate. And we have told the Senate Business Committee and the Speaker to ensure the CPIC and CPAC are allocated more resources so that they are able to go to Mashinani. And when we went to Isiolo, it was an eye-opener. We saw a stadium that is yet to complete. The contractor has abandoned site. You go to the market within it, the contractor abandoned site. The county assembly chambers, the contractor was not on site. The county headquarters, we were locked out. They ensured we didn't access. And those are challenges. And also, these people also inside the public, you could feel there was a lot of tension within the town. And it was within, we went even to a dispensary where cows was staying, and it was almost collapsing. And it is not only, even when we went to Turkana, you could go to an irrigation field, the money has been spent, but there is no irrigation going on. You remember a story of even some county in Mount Kenya East where a governor bought fingerlings and went and put on a river which is moving. and those are some of the challenges that we are saying. It becomes a very serious issue where people, and counties nowadays, in fact, for example, Kajiado, they are doing their job which is not theirs. They are building toilets in a primary school. They are building boarding school, primary school, a function that is not theirs. The county should only do ECDs and TVETs, the vocational training centers. But you find counties are doing the work that does not belong to them.
Why?
For example, I don't know, and it is illegal. And we have told the Auditor General, these are audit queries that we have raised. They have always been sanctioned that they should not do, because they have not provided bursary, they have not provided water, they have not provided feeder roads. Those small roads in the villages belong to counties, and it becomes a challenge.
Yes, they are digging pit latrines.
Yeah, in Kitengala Primary School. The question is, another challenge, as my sister has said, is recurrent expenditure. What is choking counties, and we have invited a number of counties, is our counties, we have done them to employment bureaus. For example, my county, which gets 7.5 billion, uses 4 billion in wage bill. So what is choking counties is also wage bill and wastage expenditure. I know most of the time we discuss national government as wastage of expenditure. For example, I saw a county, it belongs to a friend of mine, I don't want to mention, he might take an offense. He was having a meeting of Nairobi professionals who hail from that county. And mark you, the vehicles that were parked at KICC, because I saw with my own eyes, was more than 100 vehicles that belong to county.
From the county?
From the county. So you can imagine the fuel that has been used, the drivers that came, the per diem that will be used. So the challenge also, the issue of wastage expenditure, and I thank the Auditor General, Nancy Katungu, she has been very professional, just like Ouko, by bringing out audit queries that you sometimes wonder, why do we devolve? And that is why even today, I'm told, I heard when I was coming in discussing about the impending strike of doctors across the country. you argue that on the issue of health is fully devolved, for example. But now you find a governor allocates 300 million for health budget, but they imagine that it's not becoming serious. They cut it down to 50 million in a supplementary budget.
Before we take a break, Senator, I just want to pause and tell you. So yes, the Auditor General and those working in her office are doing a good job, like you've said.
Correct.
The Controller of Budget and those working in her office are doing a good job.
Correct.
And they produce reports and they show you where the red flags are.
Correct.
They are supposed to produce the reports. The consumer of that report, according to the law, is Parliament.
Absolutely correct.
The one to act on the report, according to the law, is Parliament.
But it is a multifaceted approach.
And then now, after all that good work has been done by Nancy Gathongo and her team, it comes to Parliament, it dies. Are you not letting down professionals who are working on this and the country?
No.
Because when you come here and you tell us, counties are employment bureaus, counties are counties. What have you done about it?
I can tell you, and I will invite you to look at the recommendations we make. There are many reports that we have filed. I've told you, we make only recommendation. If the Constitution...
You oversight the executive. You oversight constitutional offices.
Correct.
You oversight independent offices.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So even when you've made a recommendation and said EACC investigate, you have power of oversight over EACC.
Agreed.
And you can summon them and said, we told you as Parliament to investigate matter X.
Yes.
How far are you?
Now I agree with you. In Parliament, although we don't have in Senate, there is what we call implementation committees that follows on the implementation on the recommendation. But as a Senate, there was a recommendation to establish that committee. I think National Assembly was led by Jeremiah Kioni in the last session. So I agree with you that we need to follow up. But our aspect is to make recommendations. But to follow up, for example, the issue of fraud of first choice allegations in Eldoret, where the Labour Committee of the Senate made recommendations that refund should be made. Up to today, no one knows whether the money was refunded. Yet we made recommendations that refund should be done and prosecution should happen. So the question is, we have an obligation at Parliament, I agree, to follow the implementations of the recommendation through a committee. But in the National Assembly, I think it was there, I don't know whether this session they have it. In Senate, we are trying to establish an implementation committee so that when we make recommendations, we are able to do. And JLAC, for example, I have also opportunity to invite ESCC and DCI to ask on the status on the fight against corruption.
As things stand, Parliament is not fully doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Definitely, because
things stand, right?
As things stand,
because when you make a recommendation, and then you forget and close that chapter, a recommendation means that matter is still open.
Of course, it is still open, and it is still very active.
So all those recommendations that the Senate has made, as long as they are not closed, they are still within Parliament.
And that is why, under Article 2265, some governors are happy that recommendations were made and nothing has been done. Under 2265, they bear the personal responsibility, even after leaving office, especially for people who hold executive decisions. So the Constitution in itself also, even outside Parliament, even if a governor or a senior public official has misappropriated financial impropriety with the organization they run within the government, the Article 2265 of the Constitution 2010 will kick in and ensure that person bears the burden of legal responsibility for violating either in governance and even in terms of financial misappropriation. But I agree with you that Parliament, we have not done much, especially in ensuring that accountability and transparency of the resources that are devolved, both at the national and county. I don't know, because ESCC or DCI or other agencies feel that they have no obligations to follow. I think they normally see recommendations from Parliament as a love letter or to them, because they have never taken serious. Because I have never seen ESCC, for example, saying National Assembly Committee on Health or Senate Committee on CPAC recommended for Governor XY to be investigated and prosecuted.
Senate is not even powder soap. It's sabuni ya kipanga, sabuni ya kipande.
But these institutions.
Let's take a break, Senator. We'll continue. 25 minutes to 8. Senator Samson Cherargei from Nandi County is the Vice Chair of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee. We are talking about accountability in counties and the role of the Senate. We'll be back shortly. Ndu,
yes.
Tell us about weather and traffic.
Got it.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Cloudy conditions, a chance of rain in Nairobi with highs of 27. We'll see lows of 16. Partly cloudy in Nakuru at 16 with highs of 28. And it's cloudy at 18 in Nyeri with highs of 26. Eldoret looks like rain as well. It's 15 degrees. We'll see highs of 27. Mombasa partly sunny at 27 with highs of 34, and in Malindi at 29, partly sunny going to highs of 34. In Kisumu, sunny conditions for some parts of the morning at 21 with highs of 32, while in Kakamega it's 18 and mostly sunny with highs of 32 and lows of 17. Mostly cloudy conditions at 21 in Kampala, while it's partly sunny at 27 in Dar es Salaam going to highs of 32. We're looking at mostly cloudy conditions at 18 in Johannesburg, and at 29 it's sunny in Mogadishu with highs of 33. Addis Ababa at 14 is partly sunny going to highs of 24, and Lagos is mostly clear at 27 going to highs of 34. Seeing cloudy conditions at 25 in Kinshasa going to highs of 33.
Spice up your life.
All right. So at the Pangani underpass going to the city on the Thika Superhighway is where we'll see a lot of traffic this morning, some of it coming in from Garden City as well. But apart from that, guess what? It doesn't look like too busy a Thursday. We're just looking at normal traffic then coming in on Ngong Road, as well as some coming in from Railo Dinga Way, and that comes off of Langata Road. On Jogo Road, there's traffic going towards the Landis Junction, and then Landis, as you touch on Kamkunji at the roundabout, is where there is some traffic. Limuru Road, busy as usual. And we're looking at Kiambu Road, normal Thursday morning traffic. Let's see if anything does go out of whack. Talk to us on SpiceFM, KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4.
Okay, 22 minutes to 8. Our conversation continues with Senator Samson Cherargei, the Vice Chair of the Senate County Public Accounts Committee.
So, Senator, I think here we are because I think there have been several recommendations that have been made.
Correct.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Correct.
But a recommendation remains just a recommendation until something happens to it, until it becomes an action. Are we saying then that Senate is powerless beyond recommendations? Because you go, you see the problem, you say this has to be done, but then we have things that are hanging in recommendation limbo for years until the folks who know that they're in the wrong also know that actually, nothing will actually be done. Nobody will hold us to account because the recommendations are there just hanging.
That is the aspect of principles of separation of powers, because also you could imagine if Parliament was given power to investigate and prosecute. That's another challenge. I think it boils back to values, societal values in terms of transparency. Do people agree being transparent? Do people agree to be accountable at personal level? The biggest challenge, and I think, is we make recommendations, but I agree with you, oversight is beyond the audit that we normally see through the Office of the Auditor General. I have seen where we did a visit, what we call social audit, where you go and ask wananchi, do you think this project iko sawa? Munaona much? For example, like Garissa, Tana passes through Garissa County. 100 meters from where Tana passes, there is no water. And yet there is what? So the question should be, funding has been allocated. And you remember when we had 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling, 1 man, 1 vote, 1 kilometer. And I know the people from your region were saying, let's give money where people are.
Yes.
So, but you find most of this, and now another aspect we should do is lifestyle audit. We expect ESCC to be doing lifestyle audit because some of us file our returns. I know this one is uncomfortable to everybody across board, especially when when you talk about lifestyle audit, because somebody is elected as a governor or a CCM. They like, for example, some CCM drive more big cars than myself, and these are people who earn 250,000 per month. You can imagine. So another issue is we should look beyond the recommendation by doing lifestyle audit. We know even allegations where some governors have property in Nairobi, have even houses, others are buying in Kilifi. Dubai. Yes, Dubai and many other. Of course, even some national government officials. At that point, it is about does it mean, for example, EACC, which their work is to investigate, to prosecute, are they doing their job, the DCI and many others, or are they becoming lapdogs of individuals, sorry to use that word, for individuals who want to do what we call aggrandizement of public resources?
Yes.
And therefore, counties, I can tell you for free here, most of our county governments are crime scene. You should not cross where we put, this is police line.
Yellow
Please
tape.
don't, yes.
Okay,
because when we went and saw those projects, yes, go ahead.
Senator,
Yes.
a crime scene.
Yes.
Imagine a crime scene.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Somebody's dead.
Correct.
There's blood on the wall.
Correct.
It is an abhorrent thing to see.
Agreed?
There's death.
Yes.
There's destruction.
Yes.
It is so bad that the police say, don't cross here because we are trying to figure out what is going on so that we can get the person.
Correct.
And Senate is seeing crime scenes everywhere, every day,
And not even
it's
putting
okay.
tape.
Now the question Kenyan should have, and I don't know, this will be very interesting because of architecture and design of democracy. Should we be given power to investigate and prosecute?
Yes.
No.
Aye.
No.
Yes.
I say no.
What is the way forward?
we,
Unajua
the
nyinyi
people
ndio
of Kenya.
wananchi sasa.
Listen.
Let's
I think
do
you-
public participation.
I think you should be
Go
given
first,
power.
Go
Yes,
first,
yes,
City.
yes.
You see everything that the wonderful senator from Nandi has said has had to do with the limitations that they have and the mandate that they have, and he continues to talk about the limitations. And I kept asking myself, are you saying none of these things can be changed? Are you saying that these things are cast in concrete for eternity, that nothing can change? That we cannot, for instance, prosecute and look at the accounts of just 2 years ago? Must it be 4 years prior and so forth? Now, when it comes to the ability to prosecute, why I'm saying they should be given the power is so that complaint comes to an end. That we cannot do this. We cannot do this. We cannot do this.
Nonsense, City.
Please, elaborate on the
The
nonsense.
Constitution has given immense power to the legislature. Immense power. These people represent us. These people write laws. These people
Lawmakers.
oversight. Okay?
Yes.
By oversighting, you oversight anyone.
And
Parliament has power to summon even you, City. You hold no public office, but Parliament can summon you today.
Really?
to
Yes,
appear
yes,
before
yes.
it.
Under Article 125.
The immense power that
In fact, we have
Parliament
summoned
has.
one of the witnesses in the ongoing impeachment trial.
See? The power that these guys have is immense. The investigating authorities have been created and they have been established and given the resources
Yes, agreed.
to do their job. Specialty investigates. Parliament allocates a budget to them, appropriates a budget to them. We give you all the facilitation you need. In exchange, you shall come to us and account to us how those resources have been used to do the job that we've given you to do. The people who they are answerable to are us through Parliament. Okay?
Correct, because
So,
we are representatives.
By extension, Parliament has investigative powers.
But
By extension, Parliament has prosecutorial powers by extension. Because today you can summon the chair and the CEO of the EACC and say, we recommended this. Give us what is the status of this.
Can they also summon the
And-
Chief Justice?
the Article 125 says any person,
Any
including
person-
the president.
Any person in the Republic of Kenya.
That's where I was going.
Yes.
Including the president.
Yes.
Okay.
It says any person.
In the interest of separation of powers, of course, they'll not summon the Chief Justice to ask, so why is the judiciary not
Correct.
jailing, so and
Correct.
so. Okay. But
Yes.
in terms of, because she is accountable for the judiciary fund,
Yes.
they have the powers. To
They
say,
have the powers.
Judiciary, come here. We have allocated you.
But we don't summon,
billion.
we invite. You know, when you use the word summon,
because you're equals.
Under Powers and Privileges Act, it means they have committed an offense, which is not fair. So what we are saying...
So you have powers. Basically, my argument is...
I agree with you largely. I agree with you, Eric.
When you make a recommendation...
Yes.
And you say, DCI, police and ESCC conduct ABCD in furtherance of this.
Yes.
You have directed them to do it.
Correct.
Yes, they are not supposed to take directions.
But you know, the law says DPP
you are
cannot be directed.
You are not directing them.
Yes.
But the fact that you can summon and say,
we recommend.
How far are we?
Yes.
It means that basically you have something, you have a leash on them.
Correct.
So, Bana,
what I'm saying, I agree with you, Eric, with your principle of thinking. That we have powers, but I agreed at the beginning of this discussion that we have not done much. I agree totally, and that's why I started saying we are morticians. We come in when things have gone haywire, because now we come in when roads have not been done, funds have been misappropriated. I agree with you that the question should be, what are we doing to ensure the recommendations are, for example, ESCC follows up, DCI follows up. You know, when you talk about DPP also, DPP has a role to play, because after all these files have been investigated, they are now taken for ESCC, not this DPP, to now see if the prosecution or the file meets the certain threshold. But I agree, the only person, another I wanted to add before you gave me that very serious reasoning, is the control of budget. Let me use Nandi. The control of budget can assist us. You know, we have power even to direct COB to stop remitting funds to a particular county, as you have said, if, for example, declared crime scene.
Right.
The parliament has power to even direct COB not to remit money to a county X because of financial misappropriation or not complying with the laws.
And have we ever seen that done?
It has never been done. Number two, my county the other day, the governor wanted to use, when you are getting special funds, you use what we call special purpose account.
Yeah.
Under the Education Act, they had not complied with COB. The COB directed that the requisition of 90 million by Nandi county government through CCM Finance and the governor for bursary disbursement be stopped until they comply with the law. So apart from making recommendation, we don't know, because now we are conflicted. Because today if we say Turkana is a crime scene, when we went there, we could not account where 100 billion went.
Yes.
In the last 10 billion. So for example, the Senate today recommends that we don't give money to control to Turkana County. What happens? We are conflicted because what will happen to the drugs in hospital?
But they've not been there for the last 10 years anyway.
They have not been there. But
so what difference does it make?
You don't throw the water and the baby and the water. Is it the bath water and the baby? Because now, my colleagues, the challenge has been, if today we say don't give money to Nairobi, money is not given to Nairobi. What happened to the people who depend on this money that we send, for example, the bursaries, even if out of 10 Panadols, the county gives one. What happened to that one? So now we sue at the better evil, yet we have those powers, I agree, to direct COB to stop funds to a particular county for not following the financial propriety. So I agree with you that Parliament has not done enough. I am not disputing that. And it looks now that agree, number one, that we need implementation committee to do tracking. If you look at the answer in the last session, I'm the person who spoke when Lusaka was the governor and said, when was Speaker Sore is now the governor, that we need implementation committee to follow not only on what CPAC is doing or CPI. Even I've told you, Labour Committee made recommendations about agencies. For example, one of the recommendations was to find out these agencies that fly our children, have they complied with the law? So now we should be telling us, we went and look at the agencies 1, 2, 3 under the National Employment Authority. These have complied, these have not complied. So I agree, we have a big problem because Parliament has not used its power maximally, optimally to the benefit of the people.
What prevents them from doing so?
There are many interests.
What do you mean many interests?
There are many interests because sometimes you as a committee, you recommend a certain governor to be prosecuted and investigated.
Senator,
the file is taken forever.
So are we saying essentially, Senator, what you're saying without saying it yet,
yes,
is that, we don't want to ruffle feathers in the pursuance of the job which we are mandated to do by the people. We don't want to ruffle feathers, so we're going to take you're saying you'll take a softer approach to things because they're our friends.
Let me say without fear of contradiction.
Can I say
more than 3/4 of governors? More on 3/4 of governors.
Current governors.
Current governors
right.
and current
used to
governors.
Be senators.
No, it's not used to be senators. You are distracting my...
Sorry.
Having sat with I've sat with county public accounts for the last 6 years.
Yeah.
More than 3/4 of governors in office should be in jail. Should be in jail. But those files are sitting with EACC, and I want you to invite the CEO of EACC here because he has an obligation to share what they are doing in the fight against corruption. Others are lying in the DPP's office. Is it because of political interest? Is it because of connections? Is it because they are politically right or wrong? Those that and all of us, unless you are new in Jerusalem, all of us knows that when you are on this side,
you're safe.
Your eyes are looked at blue-eyed eyes. When you are on the other side, your eyes are looking red, and what have you. So the challenge outside Parliament, there are so many interests that we continue to navigate through. Because sometimes a governor comes and maybe people think that he's in aligning with the politics of the day, so they are being handled with kids' club after recommendation, another one. And that is why it has been challenging to fight corruption in this country.
So essentially what we are saying really here is that the instruments for actually making sure that proper management, proper representation actually does happen at the micro level up until the macro. They are there. They've been provided. It can actually be done.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is that those individuals in those positions are playing checkers with the lives and livelihoods of Kenyans. That's what's happening.
And that is why I was talking about, is it values of the societal values? Is it our principle as a society, as a Kenyan society? Because when we talk about, you have said...
Don't mix us into your failures.
No.
Kenyans are here waiting for schools to be built, for goodness sake. And here you've just told a senator that, if you're on the right side, if you're the blue-eyed boy or the red-eyed boy, that's how you'll be looked at. Come on.
But that is the reality.
That value
on the
system
ground.
is the Kenyans who are waiting for medicine.
But I agree with you that that's why I'm asking. We have the law.
Yes.
We have the infrastructure.
Yes.
We have resources.
Yes.
But why are we not ensuring that these things are being fought?
Yeah, why? Honestly, why?
As a committee, I can say, no, I'm not trying to exonerate myself. As a committee, we have done our part.
And which part?
And I wish in future when we table recommendation, I can be able, through your parliamentary reporters, you should even today ask your parliamentary reporters, can you look at some of the recommendations that have been made on these counties? We have done our part. I'm not saying when we have done our part, we leave it there. We have an obligation to ensure as leaders that we must follow through.
You have partially done your part.
We have not done
as
optimally.
Parliament.
I mean,
there is half empty and half full.
But Senator, do we actually elect you to do half the work that you are mandated to do?
No. You have the money.
You have the salary for.
That is another question altogether. But what I want to agree with you, we have not done optimally. We have not done. We are not saying we have done partially, but we have not done, because I'm an optimistic person that believes in it. But we still have a big challenge, and I agree with what Ndu said that we need to move forward to mashinani to see some of those projects. I'm told even after we left, for example, Isiolo, they have started fixing. We went to a mortuary, and allow me to finish with this. In that mortuary, it's supposed to take 12 bodies, but at that time it had over 30.
What?
And then the cooling system was had collapsed, the 4 cooling system. So they are using alternative of preserving bodies. And when we stood there, the pungent smell that came from you cannot believe, even in my county, Kapsabet County Referral Hospital, rats were walking around the corridor, and you saw that video. It trended for some time. I know you guys are very keen. It shows that there is somebody somewhere sleeping, and I don't think, in my own opinion, as a champion of devolution, and I've always fought on the clawback of devolution, I don't believe that we should be punishing everybody right and left. The intention of devolution was not to come and punish individuals who misuse devolution. And that is why today people are arguing that why don't we return health to national government? It is because the devolved units have failed to rise up to the occasion, and they are doing the wrong things. Because now wananchi don't have dawa, But the CCM and governor and everybody else is passing with big cars, SUVs. So where do we live as a role? And I agree that it is not only parliament that should, it is part of you. You must do social audit. You must ask questions. And another aspect, most of our people don't go to public participation. So sometimes you ask governors, why did you build, for example, in Nandi, why are you building an airport in Nandi, for example? The governor says no one came to the public participation, and I'm doing what I believe I factored in the CIDP. So I want to call upon Kenyans, whenever there is a public participation, even at national level, and count, we were in your place, Chemelil, doing a public participation on the sugar amendment bill about the zoning issue. The farmers came. Many of them, and gave their position. I wish in future, whenever you do public participation, even here in Nairobi, I see people don't go whenever counties are doing their own budget support. So another challenge is wananchi should assist us on social audit, ask hard questions, and then participate in the public participation, so that we make a decision in everything. I know, for example, the only emotive one was affordable housing, where everybody showed up. The issue of health insurance showed up. Another aspects, because now as we do the reforms in health sector, we should think about our doctors. The strike has just begun. I'm yet to confirm, but I heard and saying that it began at 13, but I believe you, she was reading the news. So the issue, and by the way, I'm the one that presented the UHC interns petition at the Senate, and you can check out the answer. And I am the one who pushed, even we invited the CS of Health to come and sit. And her argument was that this is a joint effort between county governments and the Ministry of Health to ensure that UHC interns are being observed, because they have worked. Most of them used to work here in Port Health, in JKIA during COVID. How can we reward them? We must observe them under permanent patient, because these are the people, when we were hiding and wearing masks, even the powerful soldier was powerless then. These are the only courageous Kenyans and heroes who came out and assisted us in fighting the COVID. So I wish that they could sit with the government and agree to resolve that issue. But I don't agree where police are being used. I saw Daf Jatela, my friend, being clobbered. You know, I've been a victim of the police. So I don't want any Kenyan to go undergo, and I hope IPOA and necessary agencies should investigate and ensure that specific police officer who allegedly injured Daf Jatela should be face full prosecutions of the law, because we cannot allow the right to picket, the right to demonstrate as provided by the Constitution is a right for individual of any Kenyan. Even if you want to come and picket at the gate of SG, for example, here, or Parliament, or anywhere, you have that right. So I hope that is what is giving a devolution a bad name, where governors have failed to rise up to the devolved functions are provided by the fourth schedule. But as Parliament, we shall endeavor to do our best in terms of everything that comes, and pray for us.
Oh, we should pray for you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that we have that energy and fortitude to bear.
People may offer different prayers. You ask us to pray.
Not the one that you pray in the courts of law.
People may offer different prayers.
Yes.
Senator, we thank you very much for joining us today.
It's always a pleasure.
And come again soon.
Yeah.
And let's engage.
I know next time we come, we will discuss the current affairs and other things that is happening here and there.
Even this is current affairs.
Yes. Of course, the issue of devolution is very important.
Very good.
And I still continue pushing. Finally, two things just in 30 seconds. One is that the issue of subsidized fertilizer, I think we want to, and I've seen the ministry has been very active. Last mile distribution, we want to ask counties. You know, governors wanted to purchase fertilizer, but I know that's why they are sabotaging last mile distribution of fertilizers. And finally, the issue of roads, of course, in Nandi, I continue to push that, ensure the tarmac. And I'm happy the president did intervene, and we have sat down and agreed that those roads should be tarmac within Nandi County. But my push is still on. The fight is still on. And luta continua. And I'm not receding. And you remember in the last question time, the CS of roads was supposed to appear to answer questions concerning status of roads, KQ, and also Kerenga Yastip in Kericho, but he went MIA.
Spice up your life.
But because of impeachment, so next Wednesday I invite you so that you
will be watching what you'll be doing.
Yes.
Samson Cherargei, Nandi County Senator, has been our guest. 8 a.m.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. President William Ruto has affirmed Kenya's commitment to taking leadership of the UN Security Support Mission to Haiti in a phone call with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Ruto confirmed that Blinken had briefed him on the decision of the Summit of Caribbean countries and the U.S. together with other partners on the political situation in Haiti. The president stated that Blinken had informed him that a new presidential council would be formed shortly to manage the situation in Haiti. The development comes even after Principal Secretary of Foreign Affairs Korir Singui explained that Kenya was halting its mission as a result of the resignation of Haiti's Prime Minister.
It's essentially ready to go. As a matter of fact, just last week, a team from the UN Human Rights Office. I'm saying that just to emphasize the fact that in terms of readiness and preparedness, this contingent is ready to deploy. But it is my understanding and my knowledge that there has been no deployment at this point in time.
The Labour Court has suspended the doctor strike that's scheduled for today pending meetings between warring parties. The court has directed union officials to resume work uninterrupted. The Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union has however maintained that their planned strike will continue. Secretary General Davji Atela further says that the government has been on strike and the only way to be heard is by downing their tools as well.
As KMPDU, we have crossed the Rubicon and we're at a point of no return. The strike notice that was signed dated 6th of March 2024 expires tonight, and we advise our doctors across the country to begin discharging patients and referring them, because the government has been on strike for the last 7 years, and tonight we will join them fully.
Deputy Secretary General Dennis Miskela says in order for them to return to work, the government must meet their demands.
A strike is the only power that workers have. Withdrawal of labor and skills is the only way that a worker can compel a heartless, belligerent employer to come to the table to negotiate. Regrettably, the government has shown a lack of willingness to address these pressing concerns, leaving healthcare workers in a state of frustrations and dismay. It is with great disappointment and sadness that we announce the commencement of our nationwide strike from tonight, the 13th day of March at 00 hours.
This event comes as Azimio La Umoja coalition led by Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi have demanded for the immediate resignation of Health CS Susan Nakhumicha over her failure to avert the looming doctor strike.
The doctor's strike, which has been called by the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union, could have been averted. And for the avoidance of doubt, we stand in solidarity with the doctors. Sure. And we demand that the government does whatever it is necessary, first and foremost to avert the strike, but more importantly to address the issues that the doctors are raising.
A 42-year-old man is nursing injuries at Yala Sub-County Hospital in Siaya County after he was hacked by his neighbor for giving the neighbor's chicken to a friend at Kodiaga Market in Agem. Thomas Olochi said to have been given the hen by the neighbor, who has only been identified as Shida, before he allegedly gave it to Shida's friend known as Rasta. County Police Commander Cleti Kimayo says the matter was reported at Mutumbu Police Post by one Miriam Nyende of Kodianga Market that his cousin Oloch had been hacked on the head. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has arrested a principal of a secondary school in Narok County for allegedly demanding a 50,000 shillings bribe from a supplier. The school head is said to have solicited the amount from a businessman dealing with the supply of general merchandise to the school. EACC spokesperson Eric Ngumbi said that the principal was apprehended after pocketing 40,000 shillings as part of the demanded bribe and will be arraigned today. That's the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
Traffic on Vibe Radio.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today, very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We just heard on the floor of Parliament, just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that Sisi ni ng'ombe is a baba.
Yeah.
Which means that you are willing to be milked dry.
You cannot force me to believe. I'll give way. If it's a land that I'm told to return to you, I will. Okay? Because the court has said.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
It's 5 minutes after 8 o'clock. What does traffic look like on the streets this morning? On the Thika Superhighway was getting heavier by the minute, and it still is. It's going out then towards Outer Ring at the junction, and it's coming in heavy all the way through towards the city. It's also heavy as you come in on Wayaki Way. Limuru Road is not looking too bad today, and neither is Kiambu Road. Wayaki Way is starting to pack up as you get towards Westlands. And as you come off of Ongata Rongai towards Magadi Road and then branching off onto Langata Road, you'll see some traffic bits and bobs here on different stops. But we'll see. I think we're okay for the most part of it. Let's talk on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
For this Saturday, I've got something to tell you. Well, would like you to go to Nakuru County, to Lanet specifically in Nakuru County, because our friends at Username Investments would like to invite you to go and see this brand new development that's coming up there. It's called Serenity Springs in Lanet, Nakuru County. So, Username Investment is a real estate company. What they do is they scout for beautiful pieces of land where people can come in and form communities. And then what they next do is they do their due diligence. Is this proper land? Is this properly acquired? Is it here legally? Then can we purchase this land? They purchase the land, they get the title. They subdivide the land, they get this, the subtitles, the titles. And then they put them out in the market. And as they're putting them out in the market, they say, so this is the plan. They master plan the entire thing, and they say, okay, we're going to have homes along this road. We're going to have a road here. We'll have sewer treatment facility here. We'll have water reticulation on this point. We'll have power coming in from this point. We'll have the main gate accessing from this point. We'll have other gates here. This is exactly what everything we'll have. So their team of architects and others do the master planning, and then they say, let's go to market. How many plots do we have? X number of plots. This new one is in Lanet, and they've given it a name. They've said Serenity Springs. It just sounds serene, doesn't it? It does. And it's in Lanet. It's a serene place. They have done everything. They've done the perimeter wall. They have done the main gate. They have connected power. It's on site. They have sunk a borehole, and the borehole is ready for connection to the various homes. They have done the Maram roads inside. They're just saying, come. And that's why I asked you, what's your plan for this Saturday? Please visit them this Saturday. You can catch a bus at Kencom at 7:30 a.m. And if you're in Nakuru, you can go to the West End Mall, West Side.
West Side.
Yes, West Side.
Not West End of the
West
city.
Side.
It's the West Side Mall.
Yes.
And be there at 8:30. The bus will come. They'll pick you. They'll take you to Lanette. It's within Nakuru. I mean, it's on the road to Okalau. It's a tarmac road. How much is it going for, City?
It's
an eighth of an acre.
An eighth of an acre is a modest amount of 1,499,000 Kenya shillings.
Right.
And all you require is to pay 10% of that value to start your journey of owning a plot in this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Serenti Springs.
Very good. But also you can discuss a payment plan that stretches from 3 months to 12 months. So all you do is to book your spot, please SMS the word plot to 20321. That's 20321, or you can call them 0725. The rest are easy. 000 222. 0725 Ndu?
000 222.
Very good.
Thank you.
Let's talk about our food systems as a country. And we are joined by two guests in the studio. One is Dr. Edwin Bogwa Maina. He's the Health and Nutrition Coordinator at Concern Worldwide Kenya. And the other one is Christian Schneiper. He is the Kenya Country Director at Welthungerhilfe. We had hosted somebody from Welthungerhilfe last time, so I can remember how we pronounce Welthungerhilfe. We are going to talk about the Kenya's Global Hunger Index Report 2023. It was released recently. We'll be discussing it. Gentlemen, welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. How do you feel? Are you well?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Happy to be here.
Very good. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
CT will give you the day's proverb shortly, and then we'll get into the conversation. Before we do that, Ndu will tell you why Africa is the current frontier for global markets. And one bank has decided to make it easier for anybody who wants to trade within and across and with Africa, to make it very much easier. That's which bank?
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank. Why wouldn't it be the Pan-African Bank? 35 different markets around Africa where EcoBank is present, and 4 markets outside of Africa. Why is it so easy? Because you plug into one platform. One platform is then identical around the continent, and you don't have to stop. You can just get in and plug and play. You pick up as though you never left. And because of this one banking group, everybody, wherever they go, so long as they're in a place where EcoBank is present, you can continue with your business transactions, you can continue paying your bills, you can continue, and even other businesses can come and plug into that. So you really don't have to go very far when you're with EcoBank. It's a better way to do business. And because of that, it's a better Africa.
Right. So, City, welcome our guest with the day's proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week are from the Republic of Seychelles, the island republic of the Seychelles. Opportunity does not wake up those who are asleep.
Opportunity does not wake up those who are asleep. I'll start with you, Dr. Maina. What is your interpretation of this proverb?
Thank you so much, Eric. I think this is a very apt proverb for the conversation that we are going to have today. Basically, it reminds me of what we used to be taught, that you don't wake up sleeping dogs, because if you are not prepared or you have not planned to see an opportunity and take advantage of it, then you're unlikely to let it pass. And, you know, we can align it to what we're going to discuss today about food security. If we as Africa fail to wake up and see the opportunities we have to improve our food security, then we'll have missed the bus. Yeah.
That's a good one. Christian, what's your interpretation?
Yeah, thanks. That's an interesting one. From the Seychelles, you said, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, yeah, I would say when related to the topic of today, of course, the topic hunger and malnutrition might be overwhelming, and the challenges are very high, but also very relevant. And I think when we stay alert and when we are trying to work together, then we see those opportunities. So we shouldn't be asleep on the topic, but it's more relevant than ever. And we need to grab the opportunities that are out there to overcome this challenge and to see it.
Nice.
That's my interpretation.
City? How have they performed?
Oh, they've done very well. You know, the beauty of asking someone to interpret, they can't possibly be wrong. Even if they try, because what they're telling you is how they understand and how they relate to the proverb. And so we are the richer for it, because we now get to hear perspectives that we hadn't considered. Yes.
Indeed. So earlier this week, the Standard Group as official media partner was there covering Concern Worldwide and Welthungerhilfe's release of a new report in conjunction with the government, of course, the Global Hunger Index 2023 Kenya report. Tell us about this report, Christian.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so it's the Global Hunger Index this year with the theme, The Power of Youth in Shaping the Food Systems. It has been published since 18 years. So in 2005, it was the first edition. And we are very proud as Welthungerhilfe and also concerned to publish such a report in partnership, because it informs the world about the current status of the global hunger situation all over the world. We have data of about 125 countries, and the Global Hunger Index is basically ranking those countries in different categories of hunger situation that is out there, from serious, alarming, and those stages that are a bit in a better situation. So it allows the public to talk and to discuss the results, and also, of course, get a better understanding where a nation like Kenya is faring.
How do you prepare the report? What are the ingredients?
The ingredients are basically data that is publicly available. So it's usually data from UN organizations, but also here in Kenya we refer to data from the Kenyan National Bureau of Statistics, and in particular the Kenyan Demographic Health Service, survey. So the data is always provided, and then it's a kind of meta study from all the different countries and bringing the different data together. And we come most likely to the specific score, but the data is coming basically from those sources.
The concept of hunger presupposes that it doesn't exist everywhere. Because if it existed everywhere, then the suggested difference wouldn't be there. Because if everybody was hungry, then that would be the status quo. So it means some people are less hungry, some absolutely full, some have more than what they know what to do with. So let me ask the question. Does the world produce more food than it can eat?
That for sure, yeah. So it's a matter of distribution, yeah. And it's a matter of not only distributing the food, but a matter of resources that are available to have food systems that are able to produce that food that is needed in the particular locations.
So what we're saying is that we actually don't have a very complicated problem, is that? Because at least from the supply end, there's enough food in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, so back to the proverb, right? It's about opportunities and grabbing them. Yeah, exactly.
So why then do we have hunger?
Perhaps I can come in and talk about, the report exactly demonstrate the distribution of hunger in the world. And we look at a number of key indicators. We look at the population that is not accessing enough food, undernourished. We look at the population of children who are wasted. Wasting means thin for age. We look at the population of children who are stunted. This means they're not getting adequate food over a longer period of time, and they are short for their age. And we also look at child mortality, because hunger and malnutrition predisposes one to diseases. A child who is severely wasted is 9 times likely to succumb from diseases like pneumonia than a normal child. And back to the question, the report actually just classifies various countries based on their hunger levels. And based on the report, we are projecting that about 58 countries will not reach the 2030 goal of low hunger in the world.
I think you still haven't answered the question, because it is asking, so if the world is producing more food than it can consume, why do we have hunger?
Maybe I can come in.
Yes.
So it's the system here in Kenya. There's a food system here in Kenya with various actors and various interlinkages between people that are working along the food system, the chain between production and folk. That's how we usually use the picture. And of course, that system is also exposed to circumstances like climate change, like the ecological zones that you have. Of course, it's much more difficult to produce agricultural products in the north compared to the central or the western regions. So there are various factors that are defining a food system, and that at the same time are the opportunities that we would like to find, but also the challenges that make food either being available or not. And of course, the actors include, of course, the government, the private sector, the civil society, and the households themselves. So it's a joint effort, a joint coordination mechanism, kind of, that needs to work well for food systems to produce locally enough food being available, and also not only available but affordable
to all,
for people to
food
access
security
and to buy and to have. We call it to have a diverse diet at all times.
Christian, what is a food system?
Yeah, a food system can be broadly described, as I tried to say already. The picture is usually a bit intuitive from the production side to the folk or the consumption side. So you have the producer, which is the farming household, or the smallholder farmer, but also the large-scale farmer. You have usually a processing part where food is collected, packaged, and then you have the distribution part where it's brought to the different locations where you can buy it from, to the supermarkets, to the small shops, and then it ends up on the plate. So in every household, people make decisions of what to eat today. And there's also the component of food wastage and food losses along the value chain, which is also very important to consider. And all this is embedded, let's say, that's only part of the story, because all this is embedded into a broader system that has something to do with where are the agricultural inputs coming from? Yeah, where's the fertilizer coming from? The seeds? Where are the skills coming from? The farming skills, or the people that are doing agro processing? They are usually entrepreneurs. Where are the entrepreneurship skills coming from? Where are the financial sources coming from for all these businesses? What is the policies around it? And it goes up to the levels of gender questions and who makes decisions in the household, what to put on the plate, and what to do also maybe with the income of the agricultural production. So you can see how easily and complex it gets within a few descriptions and a few sentences. So it is just a matter of, I would say, joint effort, because you see already this complexity requires all of us to bring in our capacities and expertise and a good analysis where to intervene and what to do.
So what is the situation of hunger, situation with hunger on a global scale, and then looking at Kenya as a specific country? What are we looking at today?
We've made significant progress since we started developing or producing the Judiciary report. We've made significant progress, but from 2015 to date we have stagnated. We are not seeing an improvement in the reduction of hunger levels, and as I mentioned, we are projecting that about 58 countries globally are not going to meet the 2030 goal of less hunger. And the highest proportion of countries that are, in serious hunger situation are in Africa, and specifically sub-Saharan Africa. For Kenya, we have progressed significantly from about 36.1 when we started producing the report, and in 2015 we were at around 22.5 in terms of the global hunger index for Kenya, but that has stagnated, and we are currently at 22 points in terms of the hunger index. So we have stagnated, but we are doing slightly better than our neighbors. If you compare with the index across the region, we are doing significantly better.
Can you break it down a little bit? So when we say that Kenya was at 36 and is now at 22, did I invert those? Is that correct? Was at 36, now at 22. What are we saying exactly? That there are people around the country who eat nothing in a day? Or are we saying that there are people who are eating 3 meals, 2 meals, 1 meal? Or are we saying there's undernourishment, so you're not getting the full range of nourishment? When we say that people are hungry, or that there is hunger, what are we saying exactly?
So maybe I can refer back to how we calculate the hunger index. we look at issues to do with undernourishment. And currently 27.8% of individuals are undernourished. Means that they do not get adequate food in terms of quantity and quality. We talk about various food groups, so which define the quality of the food that they get. The next one we talk about is child wasting. We've made significant progress. We are currently at around 18%, meaning 1 in every 5 children in Kenya are wasted, and this is a significant 5% wasting in Kenya, meaning that of all the children who are under 5% are wasted, and that they are seen for their age. We've also seen a remarkable reduction in stunting, where we are talking about when children are not adequately receiving food in terms of quantity and quality over a long period of time, then they become stunted, they become short for their age. We've seen a significant reduction, but we are not there yet. And we've also seen a reduction in terms of child mortality, and those are the parameters that constitute what we call the Global Hunger Index. So the short answer to your question is that our people, 27.8% of Kenyans, are not receiving adequate food in terms of quantity and quality. So it's not that they're not eating at all the whole day. It's just that they're not meeting the minimum parameters.
Okay.
Does that mean they are food insecure?
Absolutely. I think you've summarized that, and we are just coming off from what we call the short range assessment, where we assess the number of individuals who do not have access to adequate food. We are currently at about 1.9 million individuals, despite the good rain and the seemingly improvement in terms of vegetation cover. We are still seeing very high numbers of individuals who are still very food insecure. And in terms of treatment for malnutrition, we are seeing about 850,000 children who still need treatment for malnutrition. So it is a very serious issue. And these are some of the indicators or data sources that inform the development of the Global Hunger Index.
Christian, does the report look at why this is the case, the reasons as to why people are undernourished, why there's food insecurity, the reasons behind that, and then if they do, what are some of those reasons why the situation is the way it is?
Yeah, thanks. I quickly want to add to one of the figures, because I think it's also important. So you mentioned the children under 5 being on treatment. So 850,000, I think that's even slightly higher, close to 1 million. That means that children cannot digest food anymore. Right? They have reached a level where they need to go to the hospital and get treatment, and some of them will die there. Yeah. So it's a very terrible figure. Yeah, and for me, it's the most devastating that we find usually among those figures out there. Other figures also, to mention a bit the totals, also coming from those IPC reports and UNICEF reports. It's about 6 to 8 million people in the ASAL regions alone being considered food insecure. So at the risk of having this kind of situation that you need to go to hospital for treatment. So it is a very serious situation, and as Edwin said, we are stagnating since a decade almost. Yeah, so we are since 2015. That's almost a decade of stagnation.
Why are we stagnating?
Exactly. So thanks for that. Yeah, so I'm linking to the reason. So of course there are let's say those factors that are very global, right? So I would call them the mega trends. So there's something like the climate change and the droughts that this country has experienced. And now recently the El Nino situation with the rains. We have also the COVID-19, of course, and the inflation, the high food prices, the fuel prices. You can say a whole total disruption of a global economy with all these crises. And then, of course, also the war in Ukraine plays a role here. We have this fact, as I said already, we have different ecological zones in the country. So in some areas it's easier to grow food than in others, and some are also more affected by those effects of the climate change, for example, than other regions. We have the population growth. that is also there, that the demand onto the food system is just growing. So, and there's also a trend for more, let's say, rural people go to urban areas, which I think we also mentioned that figure in several occasions. The average age of the farmer is 60 years. So that's also one of the reasons why maybe production levels are not where they could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but those are the mega trends, and of course they are a bit frightening because you might wonder what can we do about them. And of course we address them on the global scene. Nairobi has hosted the African Climate Summit, and those are all very important initiatives. But coming back to the food system that is here locally and all these stakeholders and actors that are part of this food system, there are also plenty of issues that we can address directly here within our reach. And they have something to do with, yeah, I mentioned already some of them, agricultural inputs, where are they coming from, are they affordable, do people know how to use them, where are the entrepreneurs, where are the youth, yeah, it's also the topic of today, where are they in the system, are we working with them enough, are we using the potential out there that comes with ICT and IT solutions. What about post-harvest handling? This country is losing a lot of production just simply because there are no storage, the producer organizations are maybe not organized enough to really participate in the market meaningfully. So again, the nutrition education, what is a diverse diet? How do I feed a child when it's between 0 and we call it the first 1,000 days that are so critical for your future as a child. Are children going to school? Is there enough school feeding? You know, everything is interconnected, and of course, those global trends are very scary, but there's also a lot that we can still do within Kenya and within our means and within our setting priorities and trying to put the topic on the agenda. And that's basically also why we're here, right? Because sometimes, as much as we talk hunger, malnutrition, but for some strange reason, it always drops the priority list.
Right.
And, that's really terrible. Yeah.
Right.
Because
why does it in India?
Let's take a break.
Break?
And yes. And then come back and continue the conversation shortly. 28 minutes to 9. Our guests this morning are Dr. Edwin Bogwamaina. He is the Health and Nutrition Coordinator at Concern Worldwide Kenya, and Christian Schneiper, who's the Kenya Country Director at Welthungerhilfe. We're talking about Kenya's Global Hunger Index Report 2023, and particularly taking our focus onto the place of youth in shaping the food systems in the country. We'll be back shortly. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
You tune into Kenya's biggest conversation. My name is Ramanya.
Amen. Amen.
So 1 hour is over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It gets over
Can you imagine
in 20 minutes.
What the big boys have also done?
I'm very proud of myself. When you understand about partnership in politics, it's like the way marriage is these days. When you're looking for a wife, you're like, oh, you know, maybe you can help me pay for fees as I pay for the rent.
Why should you have a lioness living in your bedroom?
I have to tell you a story. I went for a prayer meeting, which was called for the spouses of candidates for senators and governors. And when I got to the gate, the lady who was the secretary, she refused to. She's telling me, no. Leo tunataka wa mama. Leo ni wa mama. I'm telling her, no. She said, no, sio siku yenu. And I thought, there's a problem here, you know, because if it was a man, but this was a lady.
It will be called First Ladies until you change the name.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
In Nairobi, 17 degrees, we'll see highs of 28, and we'll see highs of 29 in a sunny Nakuru at 19. It's 19 and sunny in Nyeri with highs of 27, while in Eldoret it's 18 and sunny windy with highs of 27 and lows of 14. The sun is up in Mombasa at 30 and up in Malindi at 30 as well. It's 26 and sunny in Kisumu this morning. We'll see highs of 32 and lows of 19, and we'll also see highs of 32 in a sunny Kakamega currently at 21. Partly sunny conditions at 24 in Kampala, going to highs of 31, and it's 28 in mostly sunny Dar es Salaam, going to highs of 33. 19 and sunny in Johannesburg with highs of 30 and lows of 16. While in Mogadishu at 31, it's sunny. We'll see highs of 33 and we'll see highs of 25 in a sunny Addis Ababa this morning at 18. It's 28 and mostly clear in Lagos with highs of 34, while Kinshasa is sunny at 25, going to highs of 33 and lows of 24.
Chilled Spice.
This might be a record. Not too much traffic on a Thursday morning. It's fantastic. Traffic has already come to an end coming off of Limuru Road. Just a little bit of it there, but we might see it coming back later, but we'll just watch and see. Kiambu Road, just inbound traffic going towards Muthaiga Square, and on the Thika Superhighway, traffic coming in from KCA out towards Survey and then through into the city centre. Apart from that, we're not seeing too much. We're seeing the normal movement coming on Ngong Road as well as on Landis getting out towards Kamkunji. But Langata Road looks good. The Southern Bypass even better. And as you're getting into the city on Uhuru Highway, at your junctions is where you find some traffic here and there, coming in from Lunga Lunga, Lusaka, and then out towards Bunyala, and then onto Haile Selassie. That's what we're looking at. Let's see what happens as we come to the end of traffic hour. We will talk on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself.
All right, our conversation continues for the next 24 minutes with our guests this morning, Dr. Edwin Bogwamaina, who is a health and nutrition coordinator at Concern Worldwide, and Christian Schnepper, who is a Kenya country director at Welthungerhilfe. We are discussing Kenya's Global Hunger Index report 2023. Some snapshots of it, just that big figure. More than a quarter of Kenyans are food insecure. They don't have access to adequate food in adequate quantities and quality. This is some serious thing. I see you have well-binded report here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy to distribute to all of you a bit. So, and I would like to encourage everyone who is listening and watching to go also to the website of either Concern or Welthungerhilfe, or there is also the website globalhungerindex.org, where you can find the report, but also globalhungerindex.org. Globalhungerindex.org.
Okay.
And you can find this report, of course, and also the synopsis, which is a kind of summary and nice graphs that you can use, and also all the other reports from the previous years. And as much as the data might be a bit outdated, of course, but the themes are always also very interesting to look at. So we had themes about inequality, conflict, migration, and all this. And today's theme is more about the power of youth. So it's a very interesting document, a very interesting read, and please help us to use these graphs and to create this public attention that is needed to the topic to find joint action.
Just from the top of it, looking at some of these graphs, I'm looking at regional from 2000, 2008, 2015, and then 2023. And if we're looking at index scores, Africa south of the Sahara has the highest numbers. We're looking at alarming levels of hunger.
Sure.
South Asia comes in second, West Asia, and then North Africa. Followed by Latin America and the Caribbean, and then South and Southeast Asia, and then rounding it out with Europe and Central Asia, right?
True. There's also a map.
Looking at those numbers, where does
Kenya?
No.
I was betting on Kenya.
No, I'm just because and there's a reason why I'm asking this question. I'll ask the question, I won't wait for an answer, then I'll ask part B, then you'll understand.
Okay.
Where does North America, for example, come in here?
And Australia.
And Australia.
And
they
Canada.
They are not here.
They're not part of it, yeah.
And now this is part B.
Yeah.
We see the highest levels of food wastage.
Yeah, okay.
Coming from North America in the world. Can we relate the two here to say that here, well, they don't even have hunger problems? According to this, would we say that they don't have a hunger issue? But at the same time, we see that the numbers have told us that the kinds of food they throw away or that leave to waste can actually feed nations on a yearly. Is there a connection that we can make between the two?
You want to try?
Well, maybe just to come in on this, the reason why we haven't, ranked them is because we did not analyze the data from them. Actually, we've analyzed data from 125 countries, and out of 125 countries, Kenya is ranked 90th. And there are various reasons for that. Is that one, we see the issue of food hunger really affecting these particular countries that we have been able to analyze. But indeed, you make a very good point that, the food wastage we see in this country is quite significant. And going back to what Christine had talked about, it's an issue of distribution. And distribution is really influenced by ability, to buy the food from these countries. So while these countries are producing significant amounts of food, the countries that have the highest issues of food security also are affected with issues of poverty, purchasing power, economic power to be able to afford the food. But you raise a very important point, and I think this is something that, of course, we can definitely explore.
Yeah, maybe also to add on it after having a moment to reflect. So, of course, it's not as easy to say something like the food that is produced and wasted in America should come here and then we consume it here. I think that's, of course, not a very realistic.
But if you play the numbers, you can say, well, look, if you imagine the kind of food that is wasted and imagine the numbers that you're looking at on this side of the pond.
I would say something like, the food wasted and food losses is a waste of resources and massive resources, because it takes a lot of effort to produce food. I described again and again the food system, how complex it is. So it is just a massive waste of resources, and these resources can, of course, be spent and invested elsewhere and in a different way.
We're discussing food as though it exists in isolation to everything else that happens, the geopolitics, the business interests, everything else that happens on the planet, because all these things we're discussing arise from decisions that are made by people.
Exactly.
When countries decide to dump food, or when they decide to pay farmers not to produce, there are reasons. And usually the politics that at that particular point in time in the country is dominating will determine some of these things. You see, if we move away from the global discussion and come back to Kenya and ask the question, does Kenya produce enough food to feed its people?
The answer is no. And I think Christine has mentioned that we do have serious issues that are affecting this. Climate change, for example, has really affected the ability of food production among communities living in the arid and semi-arid lands. And those are the actually the communities that are the most food insecure. So you find that if they are unable to produce their food, then we have the highest caseloads of malnutrition in those particular counties. We are talking about counties like Turkana, Marsabit, Mandera, and you'll be also surprised to know that Nairobi is in the top 10 counties with the highest caseloads of children in need of malnutrition. And the issue in Nairobi is not about production, but the issue of purchasing. Purchasing power, the economic power of households to purchase. And I must remind you that we are coming from a very, very, very serious drought. The worst drought that we've had in 40 years, that has ravaged these communities who are largely pastoralists in the ASAL, and they've lost up to 60 to 70% of their livestock. So just accessing the basic milk is a problem. So already the climate change has induced drought, which has really affected the ability of these communities to produce food. So we have to address the issue of food security in a very contextualized manner. Issues for the ASAL need to be dealt with a focus on pastoralism and so on and so forth.
It isn't the first time that we've had drought. It isn't the first time that these countries have lost 60% of their livestock. I mean, it has happened. and it isn't in my lifetime because I'm clearly ancient. Even in the lifetime of those who are younger, they've seen it happen more than once. Now, the question that I'm actually asking is, are we able to produce enough food to feed our country, our citizens?
Potentially, you mean?
Yes.
Potentially, for sure, yeah.
Precisely.
Potentially, for sure.
Now, we have an entire ministry whose function is actually to do precisely this. And I'm sure a lot of this information that you have go to them, together with other people who deal with the specifics of production and what needs to do. So it isn't for lack of knowing what needs to be done in order to forestall situations like the one we're referring to that has brought about what we now deal with. Because side by side with this, we have seasons when we have more production than what we know to do with.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So, what then is the problem really?
You mean the Ministry of Agriculture, I guess?
I mean the Ministry of Agriculture in Kenya. I mean the food production in Kenya, because the two extremes have existed at one point or the other. So it isn't as though we are continuously and consistently not producing enough food. That is really not the case.
So for me, a key takeaway that I really would like to put out there, as much as the Ministry of Agriculture has a responsibility, and especially when it comes to production, obviously, but again, it is a system. It is a Ministry of Education that is needed, a Ministry of Health, a Ministry of Transport, a Ministry of is it ICT? I don't know. Someone technology, trade. They all, if we manage to, for them, all of them, to prioritize the fight against hunger and malnutrition on their agenda, then we are moving, right? The problem is a bit that this is the issue of Ministry of Agriculture. Sorry to say that like that, and they should sort it. But that's not the thing. It's even the parents in the household of the, let's say, future students in the university that are working in all these industries that we are talking about. We must work on their mindset to prioritize the fight against hunger, so that they, when they start their processing and their new enterprise, they have it on the list and they contribute to this kind of very noble goal. It's not only a noble goal, it's an obligation, I would say, for everyone, as you said it also at the beginning, to fight hunger, right? It's a society thing, right? Are we prioritizing as a society this fight or not? And it's everyone, it's asked for that.
If you just think at individual, all right, the 27% who are food insecure, food is a priority to them, right?
Of course.
Those who are producing food, it's a priority to them that they have enough and they have surplus to take to the market, because it's an income for them. So at individual level, I would argue that there is priority, right? At individual level, priority to grow, to supply, to distribute, to access, to purchase, to put on the plate. So when we talk about now this food system and seeing that the food system has so many failures, because I don't even want to look at it as Kenya. I'm looking at this map and what you have presented to us. In the report is basically just broken down to the map. Look at Africa. And if you look at Africa, you can see all that yellow. Is that yellow?
Yeah, something like
okay.
Something like
that. Beige.
So the beige, whatever.
Yeah.
Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Malawi, Sudan are at serious level. Okay? Those that are at alarming levels are South Sudan. Now think about this. Burundi, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic are at alarming levels of hunger. The DRC is at alarming levels of hunger.
For sure.
Of course, it has everything working for it to be able to produce food to feed this region. Uganda is at serious level. Uganda has things working for it to help it produce and feed.
Yeah.
Tanzania, the same. So if the food system in this region cannot make sure that everybody in this region has zero levels of hunger, what is not working in that food system?
Allow me, Eric, I must remind you that, availability and access to food is also affected by conflict. Some of the countries that you've mentioned have been in war, a state of perennial conflict. Farmers do not have adequate time to grow their food. And again, I must remind you that priority for food does not translate into capacity to produce. And that's why we are here. That you may be, everybody, actually the government, as you've mentioned, Charles, The buck stops with the government, and it is in our constitution. Article 43 ensures every Kenyan the right to food in terms of quantity and quality. So the priority is there, but the capacity to produce is an issue. And some of the other issues we've talked about is lack of skills, lack of resources. I think the previous session somebody talked about land, and I've had land mentioned so many times. The people with the energy and the passion and the time, the youth to produce the food don't have land. They don't have capital to produce the food. They don't have the skills. And, to some extent, and I think this came out from the launch that we had at the University of Nairobi, which was very well attended by students, don't think that agriculture is as exciting as should be. So there are several issues that are affecting, contextual issues, and the countries we've mentioned really are affected by conflict and so many other things.
Tanzania and Uganda are not affected by conflict.
No. Kenya doesn't have conflict.
If there is no conflict, then there is issues of climate change. We cannot underestimate the impact of drought. You invest all your life in livestock, and you 70% of your wealth and your source of livelihood is wiped out by a single drought.
So those are the issues. Then that in those parts of the world where, for example, if we still look at this map, right?
Yes.
And we look at the parts where we talk about it being moderate. Let's look at Algeria, for example.
Morocco, Tunisia,
which we already know that in some parts of these countries that they are affected by climate change.
Absolutely.
They are affected by desertification.
Yes.
But we're still seeing that their levels are being described as moderate to low.
The entire Sahara belt,
the entire
Egypt, Libya, Morocco, Tunisia,
do not
Morocco.
suffer from these issues, as you say. However, they do suffer from the effects of climate change, and they don't have conflict. So what are we looking at here then in terms of the reasons as to why the hunger levels are not, or the food or hunger or food insecurity is not then deemed as serious or alarming or extremely alarming?
Sure. Yeah. So again, I am no expert for the North African countries, so I can't speak for them. Trying to bring it back to Kenya, and maybe the comparison to Uganda, where I've worked before. Uganda is the example also. They have such a much better climate and much better soil and all this, but they are behind Kenya, right? And it shows that it can't be only the production or the environment or something like that. It's about, you mentioned the skills, you mentioned the technologies that are used in the sector, the way people work together in the sector, the policies that are around it. That is very important and it defines whether a system is working or not. In economic terms, you call it the institutions. Are they working or not? And what are the incentives of these institutions to work in one direction or the other? Is there an incentive for, let's say, the Kenyan Bureau of Standards to make very sure that all the agricultural inputs that are provided out there are of good quality? Are they? Is it functioning well? Do we need to do something about it? Do we need to invest more in research and development in academia, or let's say also in rolling out that research and the technologies? Are we investing? Who is participating in the discussions? Is it the let's say, the wealthy and the persons that are knowing hunger by theory, or is it the people that are really affected by it? Are we allowing them to participate in the discussion, and are we giving them the room to formulate their issues?
Can I ask then, is there a direct parallel that then can be drawn, and then perhaps it's not issues of conflict or issues of climate change that affect the hunger index in some of these countries? Because if, again, looking at this map, and I think it's a great resource as has been mapped out, but because if we look at the countries that then are given this score of serious, alarming and extremely alarming, you can draw parallels between the situation and also the governance issue as has been prescribed by whichever body. You can choose whoever has decided that the governance issue in one country or another is bad, poor, worse, right? But if you look at this, and you can draw a line between that and this prescription that has been given about governance and management and appropriation and priority issues in those countries, maybe those then are the issues that we're looking at that would say we are looking at higher levels of hunger. because there are certain things that have not been managed properly as has been prescribed by whatever body.
Absolutely. I think you are reading my mind, because I wanted now to, move into the issue of governance and prioritization of resources. And I think Krishna has mentioned about that. Where should we invest in terms of solving the issue? But of course, the issue of governance does not exclude the other contextual issues. And therefore, the governance of food systems should recognize the challenges and the opportunities we have. And I love the proverb that, we talked about, the opportunities we have as Kenya to produce, to move from a food deficient country to a food sufficient country. We have a lot of land in the north, like Algeria, but you need water. So probably the government there has invested in access to, increased availability of water for multi-use, for farming, for human consumption, for livestock. So perhaps looking at our water systems, improving access to food, access to water, improving access to quality agricultural inputs. We've talked about fertilizers in this country for a very long time. Every year, the issue of fertilizers comes in. Right now, the government is chasing rogue traders who are stocking, poor quality fertilizers, or what we'd call illegal fertilizers. We issue of quality of farm inputs, and of course, then going back to the labor, and that is where now the youth comes in. So all these issues, governance, the contextual challenges that we are facing are critical, and I think that takes us to the next point of what we must do.
Yeah.
And in Kenya, I think we are a country that is proud of our policies. We have very good policies that, if well implemented, if we invest, if we can attract not just government, individual and private sector investment, then we can become a very food secure. We have, for example, the climate smart strategy, which talks about investing in climate resilient food production technologies. We recently developed a national position paper on food security in line with the UN Food System Summit that took place in 2021, that takes to the center digital innovations, the involvement of youth, the knowledge around food production, among other things. So governance, of course, is aligned with policy. Governance is involved is also gives a good indication of how we will invest as a country. And I must say, of course, the ASALs, we've really not done a very good job as a country to invest in our ASALs. Some of these communities are seeing roads in this century, tarmac roads in this century. So it's a whole system that we must address, and we have key recommendations that we must invest in. So absolutely right, governance is a critical issue that we must address.
So what is that place of the youth as we conclude this conversation? What's the power of the youth? What's the message that you're giving to the youth? What's your power in shaping our food systems?
The power is their numbers, their sheer numbers. I mean, I found it almost a bit interesting when I was preparing for these Global Hunger Index launches. And the statistics are amazing. 70% of the population in Kenya is considered a youth, so below 35. They make 40% of the workforce. So in every aspect that we have discussed today in this show is a youth involved. And it is their perception, their attitude, their motivation that shapes this nation already, right? And they are making the change already. The question is a bit, how much do we deliberately work and listen and work with them, with their potentials, of course. And I see a massive potential in the Kenyan youth. I meet a lot of, also during the launch situations, I met a lot of people that are concerned about food and nutrition security in the country. And that's great to see, because those are the people that will shape these food systems in the future and make them hopefully better to serve the purpose. And it is great to see and super motivating to work with the youth in that regard. And you mentioned that agriculture is not sexy. or not so attractive for the youth. But it is. I think it's easy said, but there are many youth out there that are very much interested and see it as an opportunity. See it as an opportunity.
They are properly capacitated. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Somebody's asking, what's that website again? It's globalhungerindex.org. For more information on these reports, globalhungerindex.org, you'll find it. Dr. Edwin Mbogwa Maina is a health and nutrition coordinator at Concern Worldwide, and Christian Schneiper is a Kenya country director at Welthungerhilfe. Keep it here for more conversations. It's 9 a.m.
Good morning, this is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. Police officers in Nyeri are looking for a murder suspect who's believed to have killed his girlfriend and then dumped her body in a well before disappearing. Police Commander Isaac Sang says blood-soaked clothes were found in the room of the man whose name is yet to be established.
Kuna nyumba ya huyu rafiki yake ambaye alikuwa ni boyfriend mita chache katika hiyo kisima ya maji. So waliweza wakaingia pale na wakasearch hiyo nyumba yake. Na wakati walisearch hiyo nyumba yake, walipata nguo ya huyu mwanamke ikiwa na damu. Na wakati ofisa wetu walienda katika sehemu hiyo, kweli wakashuhudia kwamba kulikuwa na mwili ambayo ilikuwa inaonekana kwa umbali katika kisima cha kuchotea maji. Tunaomba vijana wetu, tafadhali, kama uhusiano umeisha, tafadhali kubali na mutengane kwa usalama vile mulianzana.
A businessman was shot and seriously wounded during a robbery mission in a village in Kinai, Isiolo County. Police said the victim was riding home after closing his business in Kurkuji village when 6 unknown thugs, 2 of them who are armed with rifles and others with crude weapons while aboard 2 unregistered motorcycles, struck. It was then that he was shot and injured in the right leg under the knee before he escaped the scene. At least 74 people have been killed in separate attacks by bandits in the North Rift area in the past months. This has also led to the displacement of more than 2,500 people, hence affecting development activities. The group of members of parliament made the revelations when they appeared before the National Assembly Committee of Cohesion. The MPs told the committee at least 74 people have lost their lives in the hands of bandits despite the heavy presence of security operators in the region. Impeached Kisii Deputy Governor Robert Monda has pleaded not guilty to all the 4 charges facing him at the Senate. The development came after the Senate clerk read out the charges at the start of an impeachment hearing at the Senate.
As I stated earlier, I did not know any communication between my dad.
So why are you crying? Why are you crying and it's not Dr. Monda who told you to sell your salon or forced you to sell your salon? He had not told you to give him any bribe.
So where is my business? Where did it go to?
Yeah, that when you sold it on 20th, Dr. Monda had not spoken to you, had he?
Okay, where are the proceedings?
Okay, anyway, I think I've made my point to the Senate. Yes. I'd like to move on to a different issue.
The Kisii County Assembly is represented by several lawyers led by Ndegwa Njeru. Mugirango South MP Silvanus Osoro, who was among the lawyers representing Monda in the case, was opposed by Senators Samson Cherargei and Boni Holole of Kakamega, saying that there will be a conflict of interest.
Mr. Speaker, I beg that we should not use Senate as a playground of local politics of what is happening in Kisii, Mr. Speaker. Could it be Senator Osoro, Honorable Osoro and Simba Governor Arati extending their playful political ground?
Is it not, Mr. Speaker, tantamount to having a sitting of the High Court, for example, where a judge who would have sat on that matter then jumps and becomes an advocate in the same court, Mr. Speaker?
In the hearing that continues today, Monda faces charges of gross violation of the Constitution, abuse of office, gross misconduct, and crimes under national law. That's the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
.4 Spice FM. Nairobi.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God.
Not as bad as it was earlier. We're looking at traffic levels dwindling as you're coming off of Thika Superhighway. That's not too bad. Coming off of Kiambu Road, you'll be fine as well. And on Kiambu Road, and Limuru Road, we're seeing that was also reduced. Coming in from Lower Kabete to Spring Valley and out coming from Waiaki into Westlands, that looks okay. Ngong Road, some traffic still continues here and there, but essentially out of traffic hour will be in a shorter time this morning. Let's see what happens in the next half hour or so, and let's talk on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
So we've said this Saturday all roads are leading to Lanette in Nakuru because we want to go and see this serenity thing that we're talking about. Serenity Springs in Lanette. What is it? And when we say that this place shall be very serene, and we want you to go and invest there and buy 1/8 of an acre, or you can even buy 2/8 or 3/8 or 4/8 or 8/8. It's okay as long as you just do 1.499 million shillings per 1/8 of an acre. All you need to do is deposit 10% of that, and then they clear the rest within 30 days. Or you can discuss a payment plan with Username Investments Limited, who are behind this beautiful project. What have they done so far? They've done the fence, they've done the perimeter wall, they've done the main gate, they've sunk a borehole, they have wamevuta stima, transformer iko ndani ya shamba. Okay, they have done the Maram roads, they have done all that. All they're waiting for you to do is come, see, like, buy. So this Saturday, 7:30 a.m., be at Kencom, there'll be a bus. It takes you there. If you're at West Side Mall in Nakuru, be there at 8:30, take the bus, and you'll be taken. But it's a very short distance from Nakuru town. It's actually just within 20 minutes from the center of Nakuru in Lanette, on the road towards Olkalau. If you don't know the area, just ask anyone. Barabara ya kwenda Karau ni wapi? Karau. They will tell you, ni ile pale. And it's a Lami road. So you can go with your whatever vehicle that you have, get to the gate, tell them, I have come. I want to see this land. They'll open the gate, they'll show you. Or you can even call them in advance, 0725 000 222. They'll tell you, please come. We will have Maji and everything ready for you. You can SMS the word plot to 20321. It's Thursday. And as usual, every Thursday, what do we do?
Justice Thursday.
We have a Justice Thursday conversations, you know. But we are going to have our Justice Thursday conversation now. And today, we want to discuss, what are we discussing,
traffic.
Bus.
And more traffic.
Offenses, not just traffic. As in, are there cars on the road? No.
There are cars on the road.
Offenses. And what do you do when faced with a traffic offense, essentially? And there are very many of them. I just want to announce to the public that Eric has been washing his car since the last time we had this conversation. So, it was a criminal offense to have a dirty car.
Imagine.
Criminal offense.
You can be taken to court. And you can be fined. And you can
even go to jail.
Gari yako, we mzee. Hii gari yako ni chafu.
Unajua.
Unajua.
Naongea namna hiyo Okay, wewe endelea kuongea.
Utasemea mbele.
Yes.
What to do when you come face to face with a traffic offense, when you've been told this is an offense and you have committed an offense? What do you do? The Honorable Martha Nanzushi is a senior principal magistrate, and Celestine Busieka is an accounting officer at the Judiciary. They're both here to tell us about this. The Honorable Nanzushi has been here before. Welcome back. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Mambo iko namna gani?
Tuko sawa kabisa.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Celestine, welcome to Kenya's Biggest Conversation.
Thank you so much.
This is a place where you find law-abiding citizens. CT occasionally breaks the law once in a while, but just because hajui ati hiyo ni makosa. So that's why we're here, so we can educate him. Welcome. As we do this, we'll also tell you why EcoBank has decided to go big in Africa. They've decided go big or go home. They have decided, because we've been investing in Africa, we're in 35 African countries. We've even gone outside of Africa, and we've invested in 4 countries outside of Africa: the UK, France, China, and the UAE. What do we need to do to make Africa more connected financially? A better way, a better Africa.
So what do we need to do? And they've done it, actually, this one platform where everybody can plug in and play in those 35 markets in Africa, in those 4 markets outside of Africa, to then be able to say, look, it doesn't matter where you go, you can just continue with your accounts as normal. Whether these are business transactional accounts or whether they're personal accounts, you don't have to change anything just because you physically change or because you move from one point to another. So on the platform, you continue with business and everything continues as usual. It's a better way, it's a better Africa.
Kabisa. Your Honor.
Yes.
How many people do you deal with on a daily basis who've been brought to your court on traffic offenses?
On a Monday, I'll deal with up to probably 100 on a Monday.
Okay.
That is because of the weekend. Then as the week progresses, probably move down to 50, 40. Friday, 20, 15. Then Monday it picks up again.
Go back to 100. Celestine, does the graph in terms of money also look the same?
Yes, of course.
Are you collecting more on Monday?
Yeah, you'll find, if you look at our records on Monday, we have a lot of fines coming in, cash bails coming in. Yes.
Okay. We are going to discuss that and see how do we make sure that we are not running afoul of the law. And when we end up there, what do we do? City, welcome the 2 ladies with the day's proverb.
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week have been from the Republic of the Seychelles, the island country of the Seychelles. Opportunity does not wake up those who are asleep.
Opportunity does not wake up those who are asleep. We start with you, Your Honor. What's your interpretation of this proverb?
That proverb is a direct maxim of equity. Equity does not eat the vigil. I mean, you have to be vigilant to be to get your rights. Am I near the response?
My dear, if it was 100, you're at 120.
You're in there.
Wow.
Celestine, what's yours?
Opportunity does not wake up those who are asleep.
Yes.
You have to be on your feet. You have to be on your toe to always be spotting any opportunities. Yeah.
And you can't do that when you're asleep.
Yeah.
Amuka. Amka. Kumepambazuka tena.
That's what you think.
Twendeni tufanye kazi. Those days, bwana, those songs.
You're thinking of that and I'm thinking, hebu ni wenzangu. Amkeni kumekucha.
Amkeni. Sasa wewe kirani. Amka kumekucha.
Yes.
Haya. So, traffic offenses, they're called offenses because there is a law that says that this is right, this is wrong. Right?
Yes.
From your experience, Your Honor, how many people come before your court and they are completely unaware of the law? Ignorant.
Very many.
Why?
I attribute that to the lack of awareness of the traffic laws, even the simplest of the traffic laws, like actually just pulling Latif to enter into a matatu. You know, that is in a normal day, they call themselves kamagara. They'll say ni kutafuta tu. And you know, you're directing actually this passenger to board a matatu.
Yes.
But that is not a stage.
Okay.
So you are violating the rule of directing a driver to pick a passenger at a place that is not designated.
There's a law like that?
Yes. You are directing the driver to pick a passenger at a place that is not designated.
Wow. Okay.
You know, the most that will happen is he'll park, this Kamagera will ask, and then he gets a 20 bob run. Yep. And the vehicle goes.
Okay. But there's a law that says you should not do this.
Yes.
Because you're obstructing and all those things, and you'll face penalties.
Yes.
So those people don't know, the Kamageras don't know. They're brought before you and they're like, aye.
Yeah.
Sasa Your Honor, mimi nilikuwa tu nitafuta
natafuta
hustle.
Tu kwanza ninalipwa 20 bob.
Another example?
Another example of a law that a penalty that is not really the right, like motorcycle. You know, you must give your pillion passenger a reflective jacket and a helmet. So when Madame boards the motorcycle and says, no, this helmet is too smelly, I can't wear it, she can be arrested for not wearing that helmet as a passenger.
Without reason? Or if I have a reason?
It doesn't matter.
It's to protect you.
Okay.
The helmet is to protect you.
Okay.
The helmet must be on your head.
So, you know, the pillion passenger does not know that actually I can be arrested for not wearing this reflective jacket too, because I need to reflect the people behind me that I need the helmet.
Okay.
I need the reflective jacket.
And the law says how many pillion passengers per motorcycle?
1 pillion passenger.
So when two of them are brought, who is on the wrong?
The rider carried an extra pillion passenger.
Okay. So you who got on as the second passenger, you bear no responsibility?
Because actually you bear the responsibility goes to the rider.
Okay.
Who knows is only supposed to carry one passenger.
Okay.
So why are we at that situation where many people do not understand the law? Is it a lack of a structure that educates people on the law? And I know you legal people, you'll keep telling us that ignorance is not defense. But surely ignorance is part of us.
Yes.
So what is it? Whose responsibility is it to make sure that I know all those things?
And probably, Eric, that is one of the major reasons why we're here today. For a long time, we have been waiting for you to come to us, and then the circumstances under which you come to us, we are not telling you this is wrong, but not only are we telling you this is wrong, we also punish you for committing the offense. Yes. So we are here to create awareness or inform the public that from the 20th, 21st, 22nd of this month, we are going to have an awareness. We are going to go out to meet our stakeholders and actually let them know, teach them or just enlighten them on this, the simple laws and the penalties and how they can go about it. We are doing this in collaboration with the Matatu Owners Association, the DPP, we are roping in the police, all the stakeholders, the users of the traffic court, including the city council, the county government, because they also conduct some traffic duties.
Yes.
So we want to go out there. We have printed some education material to let them know that actually there are these simple offenses. You are not in uniform. How much does it cost to get uniform for a conductor in the market? Probably about 3,000 shillings. So why would you rather buy the uniform for 3,000 shillings or come to court and I penalize you 10,000? So that is what we want to, that's the awareness we want to create to the consumers of our services.
Right on time.
Okay. So, I mean, I think it's, like you said, there's a lot that people are unaware of in terms of what happens. But I'm curious as to what are some of the things that people are actually coming to court presenting with? Because then then that gives insight into some of the things that people don't know. If they're repeat offenders, fine. But first-time offenders, what are some of the things that come to the court every week, that Monday when there's 100 of them? What are some of the offenses that we're seeing then being treated?
I will tell you, I can categorize the offenses. On Monday, 70% drunk driving.
Okay.
And that is one reason why we have roped in NACADA in the 3 days awareness. And they will help us discuss this issue of drunk driving. And I wouldn't say that is an offense that people don't know. Okay, maybe the part that they may not know is the limits, because for a PSV you have to be 0.00, totally nothing.
You need to be completely sober if you're carrying passengers.
And then for private vehicles, it's at 0.35.
Okay, that equals how many bottles of beer?
I wouldn't tell because personally I don't partake, so I don't know how much.
Beer half liter, beer 300. Beer imported, beer local.
Beer cake.
City, which one are you?
The reason why I ask is because most people take the issue of consumption of alcohol and driving as a suggestion. And a suggestion that must be avoided or evaded, or a nuisance at best. And yet, the law is actually there to protect the driver. Because the moment you're intoxicated, you cannot say that your faculties are what they should be, especially when you are moving a vehicle on a road with other users. You cannot claim that. So how do we get people to actually understand, and how do we even enforce it? Not just with the drivers or the consumers of alcohol, but those who sell it. Because when you're drinking, you're being served. I know in certain jurisdictions on this planet, at some point you'll be told, we're not serving you.
We're not serving you anymore.
We're not giving you anymore.
And you're not driving. We're actually calling a cab for you.
Yes, and you're not driving.
Yeah.
But here it's like the more someone consumes, the more they're convinced they can actually drive better. And yet the opposite is what is true.
And they end up in court on Mondays.
Yes.
If they are lucky.
Sometimes
they try to get their cars to climb trees.
Yeah.
Yes. And that doesn't work very well.
They end up in the other court.
Yes.
Up there with St. Peter.
Yes.
At the pearly gate. So apart from drunk driving, so what are some of the other things that we're seeing that people are then having to...
Then we have, of course, our major users are the matatus and tuk-tuk and boda-boda. Those are some of our regular customers.
Okay.
Very regular customers. And they come in for simple offenses. The matatu is driving by and there's this conductor who is standing at the door calling in passengers. No, he's oblivious of the fact that is a dangerous position to ride in. Because if he fell, definitely it means the matatu is running over him.
So what does the law say? You must alight and then do your calling? You cannot call from...
When the vehicle is moving...
It is riding in a dangerous position.
They do it every day? Yes. Every day, everywhere. They're doing it every day.
Yes.
It's the norm.
Yeah.
In fact, even dangling and dancing and throwing their legs out, and it's part of showing their prowess.
Okay, so is this an offense?
Yes, right.
It is an offense. It's in the law that it's an offense for you to...
Exactly, because when you are riding in a vehicle, you must be seated, strapped in a seatbelt.
These are many. Celestine, what will you be doing in these days when you're having this public awareness? Because you sit at the point where you're receiving money. When the Honorable Nanzushi has not slapped me but punched me with a fine, I come to you to pay. So what will you be saying?
There is equally part of the awareness on refunds and cash bills.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is very
the process of the payment.
The process of the payment.
The government refunds money.
Yes. Lots.
Okay. Take us through that.
Yes. Now, for instance, Honorable Nanzushi, you've come to her court, you've proved maybe you are not guilty or whatever laws, then she says the cash bail that you paid should be refunded back to you.
Yes.
Now the file comes to us as accounts office. And the reason why we should create awareness, processes and procedures when it comes to refund of funds, you'll get someone who tells you, I know someone who can help you.
Yep.
This is 100,000, bring 10,000. Yeah, this person needs the 10,000. Then I'll facilitate your 100,000 so that you're able to get it on time. We have to create an awareness and tell our stakeholders or our consumers of our services that these are the processes. That when you want this particular refund, these are the requirements that you need to give us. You will wait for maybe this number of days for your cash bail to be refunded, and please do not offer anybody any shilling for us to process. That process is absolutely free of charge. And they you can always reach us. We have even phone numbers for our offices where you are maybe someone is asking you for a bribe to get that refunded. So we will be talking about the requirements. For instance, we will need your original receipt. Original receipt is very critical. I issued you with a receipt. I'll need it back. Yes. I will need a copy of your ID. Yeah. In addition to that, you have to fill for me a form indicating your details, because we don't refund in cash. We do a bank transfers. Remember, it's a government. There are processes and procedures.
Okay.
Yes.
So at what point am I doing all these things? At the point of processing a refund?
Yes.
At the point of paying the bail?
Yes.
Did I give you all this information?
At the point of paying, maybe again we can talk about the process again. You've come in, Honorable Nanzushi has fined you maybe 10,000, or there's a cash bill for you to pay. There's again a process. You go again. If you are not keen, someone will tell you, bring 5,000. I want to facilitate you to be able to get your release. It's very critical. It's a service that is offered free of charge. You are supposed to be given an invoice. There's an invoice which is automatically generated from the registries. Then life has been made so easy even in government. You can pay it even through your phone, just wherever you are, at the comfort, even in the courtroom. You are able to log on, pay it through M-Pesa, and you'll get a receipt automatically filed. Then a release order is prepared, which releases you. Yes.
I'm just wondering, the reason why you'd have these people who come in here to offer services in courts is because you are seeing some inconvenience somewhere. Okay? When I'm coming, I have come to court, I have said, no, Your Honor, this one, tuende mpaka mwisho wa kesi. These police officers were just being rude and nonsensical. Of course, the Honorable Magistrate is going to say, all right, so nataka kesi, sawa, bail, right? And that's the point now I start processing. Before I pay, I'll be a guest. At that point when I'm a guest, and it was maybe 3 p.m., and you'll be closing your office soon, there's an inconvenience that's created there. How do I get somebody to come and help me process this payment of bail and all this? Have you made those processes much easier so that you eliminate the need for somebody to come and offer this support? At the point of claiming for a refund, again, if you're telling me you must come with the original receipt, you must come with a copy of your ID, you must fill a form that tells me the details. Why didn't you ask me all these things when I was paying for the bail? You knew there's a possibility I'll come for a refund.
At the point of paying the bail, as you put it, one thing I will tell you that we are very impatient people. We are impatient.
We as Kenyans.
We as Kenyans. We as Kenyans are very impatient. And that's where you'll see somebody, I've given you the cash bail, and before the invoice is generated, you're already looking left, right. Who's going to help me out here? Yet once you have been given the cash bail, the court assistant takes the file to the cashier, and an invoice is generated immediately. An invoice is generated immediately, and you're told, Latif, this is your invoice. So you pay at your convenience, depending on your pocket.
Please, you need to repeat this. At your convenience, meaning?
You have it. So if you have the money, pay. If you don't have the money, you can look for it, but you have it.
How much time are you given to pay this?
I've already given you bail. So
you already off?
Yes.
But is there a cut-off time, meaning a day, a week, a month?
No, there are people who, if I gave you a cash bail of 1 million, if you have it, if you can pay it today, you can pay. If you'll take it 2 days, 3 days, but in the interim, it will mean you go to remand.
And that's where the issue is.
You see?
That's where the issue is, Your Honor, because I do not want time. I don't want Celestine to tell me tumefunga kuja kesho asubuhi. Okay? I do not want to imagine that the court assistant will go to the registry and by the time the invoice comes out, time imeenda. I do not want to go back there to the back room of the court and the prison guys are saying, lori imekuja.
It has reversed.
Trip number 1 inaanza kuingia saa hii. I am thinking about all those things. I'm thinking the fact that I was arrested over this matter on Saturday. And I was told, come to the court in Nakuru. I was heading to Kitale. I live in Mombasa. I have come back to the court in Nakuru. I'm in the Nakuru court. I want to go back to Mombasa, my home. I'm thinking about all those things. Now, if we have to wait immediately, now wait for money, when you wait for money, Celestine says, just a form, work a fingerprint.
Once the bail has been given, you're not sitting in court. As you wait, yes. You go to that place where the scholarship is being offered. Okay.
No, may I correct? Traffic offences, we give you time. You sit with us in court because we know you're making your phone calls. You're trying to get. So traffic offences, you will sit with because they are majorly petty offences. So you will sit with us in court. The invoices are brought to you in court, and then you're given your time to pay while you are in court as you make the phone calls. And just to let the public know, we don't close.
Sorry?
It's 24 hours.
We don't say that tunafunga.
It's 4:30.
We must find out, are you paying? Are you in a position to pay? Yes, nimetuma mtu bank, ninangoja pesa. Are you paying? Hapana, sitaweza kulipa leo. So those who tell us categorically sitaweza kulipa, we do committals for them. But those who have expressed to us that actually we are paying, we are always on duty. There's always a duty code. Somebody will sign that release order. You will not go to prison if you have paid. You will not go to prison if you have money.
Even after 8 p.m.?
Not after 8 p.m.
Okay.
Not after 8 p.m.
So 5, 6?
5, 6, you will get somebody to sign that release. Yes.
And the prisons officers are not going to come and say, wewe unajua kuna trip ingine?
No, they are being paid to transport you, so they are not in a hurry also. We always tell them, wait. We are not going to sign those committals. You are not going to go until the people who are in court have demonstrated that actually today we cannot make it to pay.
Okay. How do I pay? I must deposit in the bank and bring a bank slip, Celestine?
No, actually, Judiciary has opened up various payment modes. For instance, you can pay through your M-Pesa. Yeah. Then we have the bank. You can go to the bank, deposit the money. We've also availed agency at our courts. They are there. You'll find the agency is providing services for M-Pesa, the agent. There are those who want to deposit the cash and make the payment. We've equally, because we don't do We don't receive
There's no
cash at all.
Okay.
We also have RTGSs. Remember, apart from the traffic small offences, there are other offences which are, or some others where you need huge amount of money. There's also the RTGSs. And they are still working on more and more payment modes, like the PDQ machines. They're equally still in pipeline. Yes.
Let's take a break. We'll continue this conversation shortly. It's always interesting to have the Honorable Martha Nanzushi. She is the Senior Principal Magistrate at the Traffic Court in Nairobi. Celestine Busieka is an accountant in the Judiciary. We are learning and creating awareness on traffic offences, what to do if you find yourself at that point and you've committed a traffic offence. But most importantly, how do you avoid committing traffic offences? It's all about awareness. And the Judiciary will be conducting this on what dates again? 20th?
20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Where?
On the 20th, we are moving, 20th and 21st, we are moving around Nairobi. That is Milimani. We are going through Jogoo Road. We are coming all the way to Outer Ring Road. We take the Eastern Bypass, Utawala, Kangundo Road. We're going round Thika Road, then back to the CBD. Then the following day, we take the other wing of Nairobi. We are going to Kikuyu. We are going all the way to Juja Road. And on the third day, on the last day, we will do the CBD. And then we have set base at the archives. We are hoping to meet our users at the archives. We are hoping to answer the questions that will not be, that they have in mind. We are going to be with the county government. They also have their role in this traffic, and we've told them to also prepare to respond to our users why they are not supposed to be riding on the pavements, and the pavements are for pedestrians, and why we are having people hawking on the streets, yet it's pedestrian way. We expect them to also respond to members, there's the citizenry, why they are arresting them for selling their wares on the streets. And most importantly, the police are going to be with us.
Very good.
Most importantly, the police are going to be there.
Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly. Ndu, tell us about the traffic.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
This is one of the hottest show that we can never miss any morning, and it's a show that really gives a real situation in the Situation Room.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Ndu, nice meeting you. And even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again.
Character is like pregnancy. You cannot hide it. You know, people hiding here and there, you know, but after 2, 3 months, 5 months, now you realize, so that is why the attitude that you were showing us, you're pregnant.
It's like what my grandmother would say, you cannot pickpocket a naked man.
How's that? It's communal, isn't it?
No comment. The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Okay, so where are we this morning? Talking about traffic, and now this traffic. Any of it left on the roads this morning? Some of it coming off Ngong Road, and then also right around Kamkunji, heading towards Haile Selassie and outbound as well. It's very busy this morning, coming in from City Park, out towards Parklands, and then on to Wangari Maathai. And then that traffic that had disappeared on Kiambu Road is back. Just a little bit of it as you come towards Muthaiga Square. So let's keep an eye on this. But apart from that, I think we'll be all right through the morning. Let's talk on SpiceFM, KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right.
Okay.
94.4 Spice FM.
Interesting questions.
So, there are individuals, police officers, council, city, county, I want to say askaris. Sometimes
enforcement officers.
Enforcement officers, thank you very much. Who will then get into your vehicle when they feel as though you've committed an offense, or maybe they want to ask a question, or maybe they wanted a lift, or maybe whatever could be the case. Are they allowed to get into your car? And subsequently, since they clearly wanted a ride, are you allowed to then take them on your errands with you?
Wow. The traffic law actually provides that a police officer can enter your vehicle. Although now that one, you try to balance it with your privacy. I mean, you are a citizen. If you want to arrest me, tell me, let's meet at Kamkunji police station. I should be able to drive myself to Kamkunji police station without you necessarily escorting me, unless it is a serious offense. The law provides that, yes, they are allowed to get into the vehicle.
And to take your car keys?
There is no law that provides for the police officer taking the
And
car
to peel off your insurance certificate?
To take your driver's license and take a walk with it? Can they do these things?
There's no specific law that says that they can peel off your insurance. Ideally, police are supposed to arrest you, in fact, tell you the reason why they are arresting you, and ask you to go to the police station.
When they impound your vehicle, right, what should they do with it? Should they leave it there? Do they call this very rugged Land Rover to
break
come
down,
and
to tow it,
tow the vehicle? Yeah, what's the extent of their power here? Because let's say they found you drink driving, so you're drunk, clearly, and they judge that I cannot say ati tukutane Kamukunji. I don't know whether you'll get there.
Yes.
I cannot get into the vehicle and say twende because I don't know whether you cannot drive, right? So you have been arrested, you've been out of the vehicle, you've been put into the very comfortable back of the police vehicle. And what do they do with my car?
I think I don't want to speak for them, but ideally,
what does the law
can't
say?
drive. They can't drive the vehicle.
Okay.
That's why they always call in the breakdown to tow it to the police station.
What's that process? If I come to court and say, Your Honor, kulikuwa na 2 million kwa hiyo gari.
Eric, he who alleges must prove. You are alleging there was 2 million. Then now you have to prove to us that there was 2 million.
I will show you. I had been to the bank that morning. I had withdrawn money. Maybe I had just taken the money where I wanted to go with it. But you see, I cannot prove that I will show I withdrew money from the bank.
Yes.
That morning. It was in cash. I entered my vehicle. My vehicle was towed that evening. I can swear, you're 2 million.
Ilikuwa hapo. Then ideally what happens is that one is an issue raised with the OCS, because if you're a prisoner, the time you are at the police station, I think before you leave, you have a session with the OCS. Anybody who has a complaint, if you've been beaten, if you've been harassed. So that is the point at which you raise the issue with the OCS. You come to court, you will raise it. I will just perhaps do a follow-up with the OCS. There was this, I will ask there's this client who came and alleged ABCD. Right. Please follow up on it, and I'll send you back to the officer in charge of the station.
Okay.
Because now that squarely falls under the police.
I'd like to ask about accidents. When an accident occurs on the road, just say a minor fender bender. Now this is coming into the issues of insurance, of processing of that, and the police officer who has to come in. And what should happen? Is it a must for a police officer to come and process the scene of the accident from where the vehicles are? Because now again, do we say that these two vehicles that cause an accident are obstructing other motorists on the highway? Because this causes a lot of issues where there is now traffic congestion and forces other people to break the law. You start overlapping, you've broken the law. But garis in a block, barabara, you start doing all those things, you start creating multiple lanes, you've broken the law. But it's because of these guys who thought that they are obeying the law by staying there until a police officer comes.
To the scene of the accident?
Yes.
You're talking about a minor accident?
You know, minor is somebody's perception.
Yes, exactly. That's
I can just come out, madam, pana.
Yes. Tungoje polisi.
Yes.
Tungoje polisi. Daily, it's once an accident has occurred, that is an accident scene. The police is supposed to come because I think they take measurements to really find out exactly who was on the wrong. So it's ideal that the vehicles remain in the position that they are. Especially it helps them to establish liability who to charge and who the offending vehicle
right,
and the one who was. So ideally, that is the way it's supposed to be until the police officers come, unless you agree. The other problem of agreeing and moving the vehicles is that now I'll turn around against you.
Yep.
And it happens.
And you need a third party authority
Yes.
to say this is what happened.
And you need a third party, and third parties are always busy. Yes, I saw, but actually I cannot come and record a statement.
And the reason why they want to come and record is because the bureaucracy and the length of time, that process, you're not just going to record. No. Your whole day could be occupied with
It is
this.
a whole day because
Yes.
now you have to move to the police station, record statements, but anyway, you have come in now, but there were other people who were before you, so you have to wait for the others to be served.
Oh no, I have been called as another accident. Ngojeni hapa.
Ngojeni kidogo. The motor vehicle inspector has to come from Ruaraka and is still inspecting other vehicles in Kasarani.
Yeah.
So
the process. But on that day, we will have NTSA, where we are hoping that the citizenry will ask them about motor vehicle inspection, what they need to do, what they need to have, the problems they're having, especially with the motor vehicle inspection, because, sometimes the police arrest you for having a vehicle that has not been inspected. Then you come to court and tell me, no, I have my booking. I did my booking a month ago. The inspection has expired today, but I was given a booking for next week. So who is at fault? So we are hoping on that day,
NTSA as well.
NTSA
will be here to answer questions.
Oh, good.
When the police come there to answer questions, Celestine, are they going to tell us when they give you that police cash bail, they arrested you on the road, is that in your purview or is that the Inspector General of Police purview?
Well, thank you. Actually, that is what I also wanted. It's part of what we should sensitize the public on. Because in most cases, the public are confused. And when you've given a cash bail to the police, the cash bail is given as a security for you to appear to court. So in an ideal situation, immediately you've appeared in court, this money should be given to you.
By
the police.
Ideally.
Not judiciary.
Okay.
Ideally, not judiciary.
Okay.
The only time I'm dealing with the judiciary is when the judicial officer has ordered me to pay a fine.
Yes.
Or a cash bail.
Yes.
When the police are doing this is police work.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Immediately you appear before Honorable Nanzushi, the first thing they should give you the money that
In fact, I don't read charges to you. Because once I see that you gave a cash bill of 10,000, I must ask you, Eric, hii pesa umerudishiwa hii pesa, nani ako na pesa yake? Akurudishie kwanza. I will not read the charges before the money is given back to you.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no. Does this happen before your eyes?
Yes.
Money is returned to people?
Yes.
From the police, it's given to them? Okay.
In fact, they have one liaison person. So I will ask, this money is from Kasarani police station. Wapi pesa ya Kasarani? Niko nayo, madam. Rudisha.
Okay.
So that if I fine you, you can use that money as part of the. And if I don't fine you, if I discharge you with a warning, you have your money.
With your money.
So that you're not going back to the police station to tussle to get it back.
Okay.
But again, we have very special Kenyans. The moment the money is given back to them, they sneak out of court.
To go where?
Before
the charges are read.
Because you got charged.
Yes. Before I read the charges, the police officer has come back and given back. Yes.
Okay,
Celestine, your cash bail.
Okay.
Pesa yako ndio, pesa yako ndio, pesa yako ndio. So
Is
you
it
sit
because
and wait.
Okay. Is it because the court is so full? There's so many people there, so it's easy for you to just say, "Let me just see somebody outside
I'm going to the washroom,"
and then out.
Yes.
Okay, I see.
We have one judiciary in this country. One, right?
Yes.
We have one national police service in the country. So if I'm arrested over a traffic offense in Voi and I was traveling to Lamu, right? Can I go to court in Lamu? Or must I come back to court in Voi?
we have one judiciary, and in the judiciary we have different jurisdiction, which is also provided for in the penal statute. That you will be charged within the jurisdiction where the offense occurred. So if you're going to Lamu, then you will tell us when you are available to come, or you will tell the police that actually I can attend court in Voi on this date, so that they schedule you on the date.
But it must be in Voi.
Yes, because that is where the offense occurred.
City, ask your question.
You know, this outreach that you are planning, how widespread is it going to be?
Beyond Nairobi?
Yes.
After this
awareness campaign?
Yes. We are beginning with Nairobi, and I'm aware NTSA also have planned one, and since they have more coverage and more, I would say, a bigger jurisdiction in terms of the road safety and all that, they intend to have theirs in several other counties. But we are having the one for Nairobi because the traffic court, this is basically being done by the traffic court in Nairobi. The other courts across the country have been having also the awareness and open days. Yes, so they've been done throughout the country. This is one of the elements, or one of the key elements in the Chief Justice vision for having a social transformation
to access to
justice. So we are really going to make sure that we get to our users, including the hand-cut pushers, because they also use the road, and they use the road on the wrong side. And I mean, I'm tired, I'm pushing the cart. Can't you just see me and use the other side of the road?
Surely.
See, so we want to reach all our users, including the hand-cut pushers.
Okay.
Why I ask the question is,
Yes.
if you have or you've planned such a much needed outreach, there are courts all over the country, all over the counties, there are police all over there is no place in this country that doesn't have traffic police.
Yes.
About NTSA, I'm not so sure. But what I'm saying is, just like you have World Day for Disabilities, World Women's Day, World Day for Drinking Water, okay?
Yes.
Is it possible to have a day so that we know that every year at such a time, the Judiciary, the department that deals specifically with traffic, have these things, so that you have activities leading to the actual day? Like a program such as the one that we are now involved in becomes something that is leading to the day. So you know well in advance, and these things are talked about. So when someone says they're not aware, you tell them, sorry, you cannot say you are not aware. Because it's not just a day. We have a process, and we have it annually, and this is what we do. And there are people involved. So any plea that is based on ignorance is then dispelled with completely.
I don't want to speak for the accounts people, but you know, the budgetary constraints now come in, and we not only serve the traffic court, we have the land and environment court, we have the employment and labor relations, we have the criminal court, we have the sexual gender-based violence court, we have the development court. So it all goes back to the budgetary constraints
they can organize theirs. Yes.
Yeah, maybe I can just come in a little bit. There is normally the Road Safety Day. I don't know, it's in May.
Yeah.
Which again, in collaboration with various stakeholders, we still come together to talk about these issues of road safety. But I think again, as judiciary, maybe the vision of the CJ on creating an empowered citizenry. That is why we are conducting, we said in our own plan, as maybe Milimani, this is a specialized court sort of. you will realize it's traffic. It's unique. Milimani, I think it's the only one which has the unique traffic purely.
Standalone.
Yeah, because you'll realize other courts are doing open days, but the open days we have the criminal matters, traffic, environment, and land. But this is purely only the road safety for the traffic. So there is normally a road safety day. I don't know, it's normally in May. Yes, and we always do in collaboration with other stakeholders. But we didn't want to be swallowed. We really want to create awareness and tell people we don't want you to come to us.
Yeah.
Can you know these regulations? They'll make you note to come to us. Because the other day we can easily be swallowed. We are talking about the deaths and whatever, but here we are speaking about the court processes, procedures.
So it makes sense what City is saying.
Yes.
Having a judiciary week that says, in fact, even traffic offences, this is when you have an RRI.
Yes.
If there are any pending cases, we're going to hear them. We're going to try and finish them within this time. At the same time, we are creating awareness.
Yes.
Just like we see the judiciary doing at the Supreme Court grounds, KICC grounds, where you say the Lands Court this week is having this awareness week.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it does.
We will. We actually will think about it when it comes to budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we draw lines between, obviously there's a need to raise awareness. Can we draw and connect and say, look, if people are aware of what is supposed to be happening on the roads when they're using them, applying them, then we will see a reduction in the numbers of people who come to your court, for example. Do you think that would be the case?
Yes.
And then now, as we look at those you've talked about who frequent the court, it's a caliber. Those who are driving their own vehicles, I just thought about it. Those who are driving their own vehicles, because you mentioned, and I guess maybe drunk driving would fall into that category the most. But then the others you mentioned are public service vehicles, tattoo industry, and then also the border riders, the tuk-tuks. So do you see that there is more from the public service sector that come to court over and above those who are using the roads in their personal vehicles? Or is the number balanced?
The number is balanced.
Okay.
But the difference comes in here. That most of us who use personal vehicles, the police respect the fact that actually Celestine is driving to work and says, I will be able to attend court on Wednesday, and give Celestine a notice to attend court on Wednesday.
For Matatu?
Matatu are brought to court because they are arrested and brought to court, and some circles, most of them, are given the notices to attend court. 70% of those who are given notices, both private vehicles and matatus, don't show up. They form 80% of the warrants of arrest that we have. They do not honor that document at all. And the one who honors Eric is the one who was given a cash bail. So they know I have to show up to get my money back.
So we have 80% of people who have the notice to attend, basically still running around
yes
the country.
Sasa ulikuwa unaenda ni umeshikwa tumeenda 120 mahali ya 110.
So what would happen in the event?
And you are going to do where? Will you come back to voice?
Yeah? But look at it here in this way then. What will happen in the event that
they don't show up?
No, they catch up with you later because they have your details.
So the warrant of arrest is then issued by court.
Yes,
they will catch up.
I will issue a warrant of arrest.
Yes, much worse.
It's much worse.
It's much worse if you sell the car, because the person who's driving that car will then be arrested.
So we will charge you for failing to attend court. They will charge you for failing to attend court when you're supposed to have attended court. So you will take plea for failing to attend court and now for the offense that you committed.
Yes. The original one, whether it was speeding, whether it was obstructing, whether it was whatever.
Actually, you would have just gone
driving a dirty car.
Yes. It is often easier to just deal with it the first time.
Malizana nayo. Two comments that are coming in. Amos says, I hope that you gather questions from this engagement with the public and you compile them into an FAQ that's accessible on the website. So people then can also use that as a knowledge hub.
Yes.
And then the second one is... B is calling you Madam Judge. Okay, it's Madam Senior Principal Magistrate. If these traffic offences, many of them are petty, why do I get entered into those records where I can't get a certificate of good conduct? Does this happen?
Petty offences, they don't take fingerprints. They're not entered into the records because they are petty offence. They're not having uniform is not. They don't take fingerprints for that. They're not criminal offences per se.
But causing death while driving?
Yes.
Oh, that one?
Yes. That one, they will definitely take your prints.
Okay.
Yes.
We thank you very much, ladies, for joining us today, and we wish you all the best. The 20th and?
20th, 21st, and 22nd.
And 22nd.
Yes.
20th, 21st, 22nd. Look out if you're in Nairobi.
In Nairobi, we will be somewhere near you. We will have the flyers with the frequently asked questions and the responses therein. We will have a document that states the fines, what to expect when you're charged with a certain offense. We will definitely answer the questions on the ground as they come.
Very good.
Yes.
Our Justice Thursday conversation this morning hosted Honorable Martha Nanzushi, Senior Principal Magistrate in the Traffic Court at Milimani, Nairobi. Celestine Busieka is an accountant in the Judiciary. Thank you very much for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. See you tomorrow. Have a happy Thursday, 10 a.m.
Has been hired as head of communications in the Ministry of Public Service. PSC chairperson Anthony Mushiri said that the board had not received